Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning into this episode of The Last Word. This one is going to be a little bit different. Our guest today is one of very special nature. So, that being said, we've only got him for a limited amount of time. So, what we want to do first is spend our time chatting with him, let him get back to his world and his family and everything. And then we'll take a little pause, get a cut, and then we will come back and talk about all things beyond light just between Cognito and I. So, Cognito, in proper fashion, let's bring our guest in.
No doubt. All right, we're live, y'all. Welcome to The Last Word, episode number 128. And it's a glorious Thursday. Thursday, that's true. And we're back in front of the campfire for some more looter shooter discussion. I'm extremely excited about our special guest, so we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce a Lord who is not only responsible for some of the most iconic themes and soundtracks within the Destiny universe, but whose talents sonically evoke a wide array of emotions within our video game, film, and record industry. Introducing the music director / composer at Bungie and co-founder of the Sound Chemistry record label, the Lord of music production and sound design, all the way from the drums of Halo Reach to the frigid sounds of Europa and the Deep Stone Crypt. Live from Pacific Standard Time and making his debut at the campfire of The Last Word, my man, Lord Skye Lewin. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much.
Good to have you here, man. Long overdue. I know we've been talking a bit, to schedule you on. We appreciate you taking the time, man. First off, quickly, how are you doing in the midst of this whole, Beyond Light launch and everything else? Just how you surviving through everything?
Oh yeah. Well, thanks for having me. Good to be here. Yeah, it's been a good time. Like working on this stuff is always fun, so I can't complain.
Nice, man. So we're gonna hit the ground running because we know time is limited. So you want to set it off? Should I set it off? How you want to do, sir? You're muted.
Of course I'm muted. Why wouldn't we? I was letting you have your time. That's how this works.
Okay,
I had to give you your time. No,
I appreciate
Skye,
it.
first thing, just wanted to, if you just want to kind of tell people a little bit of your background in how much of kind of the Destiny music you've been through, and then also just, what music you worked on previously, just kind of what they would potentially know you from before we dive into more of the details.
Cool. Yeah. So with Bungie and Destiny, I played some drums, like you mentioned, on Halo Reach and ODST. That was kind of my introduction to Bungie. And then I got involved doing composition on D1, wrote a bunch of pieces of music that are in the game, and shortly thereafter was invited to join the team, and joined the team in, what was that, December of 2014, I think, as a composer. And so worked on, House of Wolves, Taken King as a composer. And then in 2016 moved into the role that I'm in now as music director, still also composing, but that was Rise of Iron was our first release with me in that role. And, basically doing that thing still. So having a blast. And before Bungie, I did a bunch of work in records, but mostly TV and film, in various roles. Like I worked on a series called Entourage that some people know about, some people don't. Pretty fun series though. If you haven't seen it, you definitely should. And several others. The most recent one being Fargo and Banshee. Banshee was a really pretty awesome show, as was Fargo. So those were both a blast to work on, and kind of a bit of everything. So
cool. Actually, you transitioned right into one of my questions, which is in reference to that, because you got this vast, like, diverse career, in my opinion. And like when I seen, the things you worked on, again, like you said, CSI Miami, Entourage, one of my favorite shows on HBO, and even I believe the Karate Kid, the remake. So what I was gonna say is, how does that differ for you musically in comparison to what you do now as far as like in the game industry?
Well, there's two parts to that answer. Let's see. So first, the role, like in TV, like Entourage, there's not a score. It's all songs. So my role in that was as a music editor, and that's a very different thing than composing music. I did compose a little music that was in that, but they were tracks, you know what I mean? Not like score. Mm-hmm. But for a show like that, the score is made up of songs. And so taking a piece of existing music and molding it to fit a scene and score a scene is a whole different skill set than actually composing music, because composing music is more about identifying and conveying an emotion, whereas taking a piece of music but you have less control over that. And so it's more about where you place certain parts of the music under the scene. And I could go on for much longer about that.
So that's why you're here. We want to get the behind the scenes.
We're learning from the legend today.
Get the inside baseball of the music world.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I suppose when it comes to composition, especially for video games, it's a different muscle. Like composition in general is very much about that emotion and emoting, conveying an emotion and making sure that emotion matches and supports and enhances the media that it accompanies. And with a video game, it's not linear. It's never the same twice through. I mean, there are exceptions like cinematics and, cutscenes, etc. Those things, they are like mini versions of TV or film. But with the gameplay itself, the music has to be able to survive in any number of different experiences. So every time you play it, it's going to play back differently, and being able to track that and follow that is necessary. And that's one of my favorite parts about working in games and non-linear media, is having to think about that and build the music in a way that can accomplish that, but still convey what you want to convey as a composer, and still convey the right emotions in the right places. And, TV and film, it's very much like, this thing's always going to be here.
Gotcha.
There's conforms, and you're changing the way the music fits against picture as the picture evolves. And, there are things that have to happen in that medium to polish it and, get it to the state it needs to be in when it goes out. But that state is a moving target in games, and I love that. It makes it a whole other type of challenge.
Very, very more dynamic, I would assume.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. E, what you got, man?
Yeah, I mean, that just kind of takes into the next piece, and that's why when you talk about games, you have to think of, especially Destiny being an open world game. You drive around, you could go into a lost sector, you could boot off a mission. It's not like, you picture an old game, you're like, oh, you play through a level and it may loop a track or do some variations, you close a mission, you go to the next one. Very distinct start and stops. You could roam around on any planet in Destiny for a while and get different themes that play, different tones that come in. How do you guys actually, what is the process to decide, what track kind of plays where? How is it? I mean, it can't just be, it's not like an audio slider. One goes off and then the other I've heard things of tracks almost truly they dynamically build. Like you start here, and if you get to a certain progression, then you add more notes or instruments or things like that. I was just kind of curious if you go into details how you handle an open world, or how kind of the tracks progress as, you play a game like Destiny versus say Mario Brothers, when it's start to finish. Very, very different.
Right. Well, I mean, there is an aspect of that, the activity, the campaign activities have more of that Mario Brothers sort of feel, where it is a start to finish thing, but there can be hybrids where it's a little bit of free roam in moments, or you hit a certain spot and you could go off and get sidetracked doing something else and then come back to your goal. And being able to support all that is kind of part of that dynamic nature of games that I was talking about. But yeah, I guess without getting too into the details that I shouldn't talk about, I think
that we don't want to get you in trouble.
Only safe stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. There's music.
Good answer.
Fair enough.
For real though, it's each destination will score with what we will call a palette internally. We'll say, okay, this destination needs to convey these things. We want to make sure these emotions and this feel is in the score, or comes across to the player. And so the score is built with that in mind for a destination, but then there are activities that happen in the destination that may deviate from that. And so we have to plan for those things and score those things. And then getting from one to the other in a musical way that transitions and doesn't sound bad is part of it. And I guess the best way to put it is there are kind of at least two different approaches to how we would play music. And one of them is you're out in the world, you're doing, something in free roam. And the other is it's a, campaign, and it's a very linear, in a non-linear way, activity. And so within those two, we have several ways of approaching it. And probably won't get into that in too much detail, but
That's fine.
hopefully that answers your question at least.
No, that's fine. Actually, you actually answered about two parts of the question, two different questions I was going to ask you, which is cool. Which one was, you know, hearing you, Michael, and the team always reference like the Destiny gravy, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like what concocts it and how that, and I think you did a good job of kind of explaining, you know what I'm saying? Again, you have, like you said, the Mario Brothers stuff, which is the campaign, which is set, whatever, but then there's things that it's an open world and stuff like that. But the thing that really impressed me was, I think, something you said at GDC way back, Game Developers Conference, and how like Destiny's game engine is able to play music that changes dynamically. You know what I'm saying? So I guess the other part of this that I wanted to ask you was that, as far as the input, right? How much input do you guys have over that in comparison to maybe say like a budget, as far as where the way things go in that direction? Is it like 50-50? As much as you could talk about. Obviously, we don't want to get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first, team. You mentioned team. Just make sure, like, our team is awesome. That's the best part about it. So I just got to call that out real quick.
Salute the best team. The best team. I got to salute y'all. Continue.
Yeah, no, the people that we get to work with are all phenomenal, and none of this would be any good without the people. So I'm glad you mentioned that. I just had to pause there. But yeah, to answer your question, yes, we have a good amount of control over that. And yeah, the GDC talk you're referring to kind of went into some details on that, and I can kind of recap them. The gist of it is, and this is something we constantly evolve and change over time, but the gist of it is, when you're in free roam, you get what we call the ambient playlist, the ambient state, and that just plays music that feels like the place, and it has different things from the place. So in this case, Europa, there's elements that in each queue represent different things about Europa, and that as a whole, that ambient music kind of tells a story about Europa, and it can play whenever. But then as you do things within free roam, the music can change and does follow the experience, and that happens through a couple of different ways. But the one we talked about at the GDC talk was what we call our music system, and that basically allows us to use script calls to change intensities in the music, and then how we design the music to respond to those script calls can vary. But the basic output is that when you hear a certain change in the music, it's following a script call that might say, oh, do this here, and then we get to this moment in this activity, do that, or maybe it's stop, or maybe it's go back to ambient, or, you know, it could be any number of those different things. But the idea is that it's sort of a bridge between being purely in the ambient state musically of free roam and a fully curated campaign like a Haymaker or something. It's in the middle of those, and we can transition from one to the other through this system, and it gives us the ability to kind of support the gameplay in a way that still feels like Destiny.
Again, I'm sorry, Getty.
No, I was going to say it always feels like Destiny, and that's one of the things for 6 years. And shout out to Cognito. I'm going to steal his thunder a little bit. He has been championing for you guys to win awards for sound for just literally years. We'll see the nominations go. Once again, Game Awards come up and be like, dude, where is Destiny on the music? You guys are getting snubbed. It's not cool.
Skye, I'm on the front lines. Skye. I'm like the champion for the team, man. I'm like, it is a travesty that, and this is my thing. Of course, yes, I'm biased with Destiny fan. But you guys are amazing. And I just feel it's a travesty that there's no nominations. The only thing I can think about is maybe they're categorizing Destiny 2 as the original release, and they're not counting each expansion as a separate thing. And that's what I feel is just criminal, man. It's criminal what's happening to you guys. I just wanted to put that out there. Okay, I got to fight the good fight for you guys all the time.
But we appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those.
You may be right.
Yeah, it's like we've always wondered how the nominations go, but that's one of those for you guys take something as big as Shadowkeep or Beyond Light, and again, you can talk as little as you have to about that one. I understand, but even say something like Shadowkeep, you try and I want to know, like, when you guys get to. I'll have two questions, but I'll do them kind of in separate places. But take something like Shadowkeep or Beyond Light, and we have. Like the theme of Shadowkeep is a lot of people would think fear. Like fear is in the theme, the underlying tones that you guys have in the music, and it could take like 3 notes, and some of the notes you guys hit just make like the hair stand up on the back of your neck, which is really good for you guys doing your job insanely well. But it was like, if somebody's just like, hey, this is all about nightmares, if somebody gives you just that as like, do they, when you go to start composing, do you get something like, hey, we're working on this next expansion, it's got something like nightmares in it? What does that start doing in your head, and where do you start going with something even as vague as that? Or is that how the process even gets to begin for you? Or do you come in the process like, you know, the whole story about Eris, the pyramid, and all this other stuff? When do you start getting involved, and then what happens as soon as you do?
Okay, so yeah, first I'll just say, yeah, maybe the expansion thing has to play some part in that. I don't know, but I appreciate you rooting for us.
I got you.
Yeah, as far as getting involved with the process, I mean, that's the best part about being in a studio and working the way we do, is we're involved like from the beginning, and it's very collaborative. We generally know what the story is shaping up to be when we start, but it may not be finished, and so we're often kind of tracking the changes as they evolve. And we might start with, you know, like Rise of Iron's a perfect example. We had 1 piece of concept art and 5 key words. And so the theme that came out of that was really targeted at something that we thought we understood based on those 6 pieces of information. But as we started to, you know, really ingest what the story was, we were able to flesh it out and push it more in that direction. And so that's kind of our process, is start with whatever we have when we need to start, and evolve with everything else, which is definitely different than, you know, say TV or film, which is much more like, hey, in most cases, there are certainly exceptions, but in most cases, it's like, here's the edit lock, and we're going to spot this, and then we're going to score it, and it'll change a little bit, but the story is mostly the same, and like the scenes have already been shot. But in games, it could be like, we think it's going to do this. Right. Maybe. And that's also fun. Wow. But yeah, I mean, there's very much evolution through the process, iteration, and kind of following what things are turning into, and making sure that what we're doing supports that.
Fair enough. Speaking of which, I had to ask this too in reference to that process, right? Which is the team, and I would say like debating on choices and direction sonically and stuff like that. And I've heard, you know, discussions obviously with yourself and Mike, even reference to you, just kind of like these creative debates where maybe in the past you have fought for a specific theme on how a specific segment in Destiny should sound. And like, how intense does it get? Or maybe could you give an example of a moment like this in the past where it's just like, you're like, no, I feel this, whether it be character or theme or setting, should represent this. And maybe you're getting some pushback. Like, how often does it happen? Or maybe you have
I was going to say, I heard somebody got punched in a previous interview, but...
Oh!
Well, all right. I don't think there's anything quite like that.
It ain't that serious, Skye?
No physical, no beat 'em ups, no brawlers going on.
I mean, if that happens, I'm fortunately not a part of it. So.
Salute to you.
Yeah, no, but yeah, we have conversations, and sometimes people don't agree on what something should be. But I mean, that's one of the cool things about Bungie, is that it is my job to help define what that is in the music, and that's unusual in a lot of cases. And so, having a voice in that process, and not just being like a person whose job is to provide a score that hits somebody else's box of check marks, right, is one of the best things about Bungie for us and our team. But really what we're doing is we're bringing our voice to the table, and you know, we have those discussions. Sometimes somebody feels very strongly that this thing should happen, right, and sometimes they're right, and sometimes we're right, and it really doesn't matter who's right. What matters is, how do we make this the best that we can make it, right? And being open to everybody's opinions and everybody's input, that's what matters, in my opinion. And you know, I think our team does a really good job of keeping that balance, so that we keep the priority in mind, and not like worrying about, well, my idea didn't make it in, like, you know what I
mean? Dang it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, it's got to be a fine line, I would say, sometimes, only because of again, the passion you guys put in. And I guess where the question kind of stemmed from, because I was just kind of thinking, again, you mentioned something like Rise of Iron, you mentioned like having maybe 6 pieces of things to work with or things like that. But I was also thinking, okay, well, maybe the narrative team comes in and they have an idea, or someone else has an idea, and you really emotionally may feel something. I just wanted to say like, you know, eventually I know you guys come to that middle ground kind of thing, but I guess my question is like, how often does that thing kind of happen? I meant to say.
Well, I mean, you mean like collaboration or like conflict during collaboration?
More of a conflict sonically of maybe the way something should sound.
Pretty rare.
Okay. Mhm.
I mean, for the most part, like it almost never happens. I think I could maybe think of a couple of examples where we had discussions where there wasn't necessarily alignment early on.
Gotcha.
You know, I'm trying to think like really maybe only one, but and it really in the end it like kind of worked out. It worked itself out.
Which one, Scott? Come on, we did.
I want to say it, but I can't get into too many details, so I'm being careful. So on D2 and in the activity where Journey plays, it's like, you know, a very orchestral approach to scoring that activity.
Yes.
And I won't say what we also were considering doing, but there was a strong desire to do something else. And I felt strongly that it should be what it turned into. And we had those discussions and, you know, kind of got to the point where we all landed where it landed. But you know what I mean? That was maybe the only example of something like that I could think of. But it wasn't conflict. It was just discussion and like getting all of the reasons and the, you know, the whys out there and aligning. It was really more just like development, like the process that we should be going through. And a lot of times alignment just happens right out of the gate and there isn't that. But when there is more discussion involved, like that might be an example of it.
No, that's actually a great example. Thank you for that. That's actually, I was very curious about that. What you got, E?
I was like, I feel like I'm going to probably tackle the elephant in the room here, but I honestly wanted to see what has been kind of the most challenging over the past year, because it has been one hell of a year. But also I would say, like, what have you guys gained by going through this past year as a team? Like, obviously there were challenges faced and remotely and things, but I would say where you guys see yourself like now having released something like Beyond Light, where do you think you've, you know, seen positivity out of it too?
Yeah. So yeah, working remotely has been interesting. Certainly things that are more difficult, especially when there's large amounts of data involved. But, you know, I think once we got over those hurdles, which we did get over pretty quickly, it actually, in some ways, almost kind of feels like normal. I mean, we miss the human interaction of like, especially composing where we're all in the room together and we're, you know, like the vibe that kind of happens when you can be in the studio with other people. It still happens over like a virtual meeting, but it's not quite the same. You know what I mean?
That's the same with Zoom.
But yeah, I mean, I think if anything, that's probably the thing I miss the most is the in-person interaction and the magic that can happen. I
mean, is it almost kind of like
without any plan,
like a garage band jam session? Sometimes if you guys are working on something, get into a rhythm. Is it almost like that for you guys?
Yeah, no, you could call it that. I mean, like sometimes it's like, hey, I have this idea, come listen to it. And then that turns into like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And then like, you know, 3 hours later without really meaning to, we walk out and we're like, ooh, this is going to be cool. Sorry, I missed that meeting. You know, every once in a while, something like that happens. And letting that magic happen is really key. And it's harder to do when you're remote, but it still happens because, you know, just virtually tell someone I gotta skip this meeting or I'm gonna be late or whatever. Yeah.
Zoom call somebody at 3 a.m. Dude, I had a note pop into my head. We have to talk.
Oh no, the 3 a.m. thing is real.
Wow.
Okay. I was joking. Okay, I mean, who woke who up?
not usually like calling each other, but like, you know, people might wake up at 3 a.m. with an idea and sketch it out just so that we don't forget it. Because you know, you go back to sleep and you wake up and you're like, oh, what was it? I should have recorded it or I should have like written it down. And so we're pretty good at that. I mean, Mike just did that recently. Like, wow. And it was actually 3 a.m, which is why I thought it was funny that you mentioned that.
That's like the time most people are sleeping, but for you guys working all hours, you could be awake. You never know. So,
or you're sleeping and you have an idea and you got to wake up to write it down.
That's kind of awesome. So, is there like a notepad next to all of the composers' beds at all time to be like, I got to write it down?
That I don't know, but I have one. Yeah.
Nice.
Cog?
Yeah, man. No, good question. I mean, I really definitely wanted to harp on that because, you know, one of the things, you know, obviously interviewing a lot of developers, interviewing different people in the games industry, you know, we forget, you know, being in a pandemic. And the things that I was told obviously was motion capture. And then the second thing is obviously orchestra and music. How impacted that is. So Ida is a fantastic question because you forget like this is almost like we got consoles launching in a pandemic, and then we have an orchestra launching. These are different times. So salute to the team, man, for you guys to still be able to do your jobs, to kind of adapt on the fly and still put out this amazing product. So salute to on that. And then the second thing is, I know we can't touch too much, but I got to commend you, you know, obviously picking up the Beyond Light soundtrack. And just hearing like this whole feel, you know, the cold storms of Europa, the feel, you know, and then obviously the ominous level of the pyramid. So it's like, again, is it a similar situation where, you know, kind of pieces are just given to you and then you guys are allowed to expound upon kind of thing? Or was it more detailed than even Rise of Iron as far as what you're allowed to kind of formulate in your minds?
No, I mean, it's pretty much always like, we get the information about what the destination's going to be, what we're trying to tell the story of there, what the destination looks like. And even if that's not finished when we start, we kind of, like I said, track it as it grows and as it becomes what it's going to be. And so our job is to represent that in the music. And, you know, however that comes about can be different on each release. Sometimes we have more information earlier, or sometimes we have less information earlier, or sometimes, you know, every release has a different set of circumstances, I guess. But it's always our job to define what it's going to sound like musically, and that's that part doesn't change, I guess.
Nice. Yeah, tremendous standouts for me. I want to give you guys a couple shout outs. Beyond Light, the actual intro track. Fire. Awesome. Love it. I believe that's your first credited, I believe, right? With that one, right? As far as
I mean, like everything's a team effort. Like the way credits go, like we'll often credit somebody first if it's like, oh, the melody that's in there, they started it. But even if somebody starts something, usually everybody's got their hands in it to some degree. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So this is the team effort for sure. No, I was like, I like that though. That's for sure.
I love it. And I'm actually learning, but the fact that he said that, I'm actually learning a lot and as far as that process. But I want to give you that shout out for that. The team. Fallen Empire was another standout for me. Every time when he go into any of the Braytech research facilities, Frigid Tomb, very good. Well, very, very stands out. I always like when Bungie, like you guys do like dark computer tech themes and evil machines going on. Like the music always fits, but there's one I got to talk about. This is what I got to talk about.
Probably the one you can't talk about?
No, the one I'm going to talk about that Skye can't elaborate on.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Which is Unveiled. I don't know what's happening in Unveiled, but that sounds like the most ominous, darkest. Guys, if you guys got the soundtrack, Unveiled. I don't know what's going on. I'm scared of what we're going to face when that track, whatever that track is. I haven't heard it in the game yet. So whenever that hits, oh boy. I want to shout you guys out for that.
Well, cool. I appreciate it. Yeah, I won't spoil it then.
Yes, correct. Good. But salute, man. Again, just a very ominous, foreboding, you know, this whole, it almost feels like a boss fight, but I really want to shout you guys out because this soundtrack is really, really solid, man. I'm really enjoying it, and I got a chance to really deep dive with it. So salute to the team, man. Love what you guys did with this one.
Right on. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll make sure and let them know.
Absolutely. What you got, E?
Yeah. No, I'm just sitting there like trying to think of all the songs and stuff. No, but when you guys like go through and, you know, obviously the theme of Beyond Light is freezing your ass off is the nice way to say it. I mean, it's like the whole place is cold, but I wanted to compliment you guys as well. It's like, how do you, and you go through and I've been like playing a lot, and then I like had the soundtrack I've been playing in the last few days as you were coming, and just like, when somebody describes, how do you make music sound cold? And I want to say you guys, that sounds ridiculous, but I want to say you guys nailed it. Like,
yes,
like the tracks, the sounds, like there's three, the bum, 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 but like the few themes that you guys have in there. And it's like, there's 7 notes. And this is kind of where I'm leading with my question. There are certain aspects when you guys get to musics that if you listen to a whole soundtrack, there's like very specific thematic, like little tiny chunks that happen in there. I don't know like proper term hook or anything of that nature of what you'd call it, but when it comes to like those little sections that seem to be a thematic piece in a lot of places, like how much deliberation happens on those? Is that one of those that's a 3 a.m. to 7 notes happen to you? I was like, is that like something that has that much, like, it feels like it's got a lot of weight through an entire soundtrack. Is that one of those that just the epiphany happens on one of you guys is like, eureka, like the whole soundtrack has a theme now? Or how does something that specific come up? And if you have any idea what I'm talking about, I don't know, but there's a certain theme that happens a lot that I noticed.
Yeah, no, there's a few. Each release has at least one, usually more. And like, yeah, they're themes or motifs. They represent certain things in the story or certain elements of the game that are central to the story. And that is always very intentional process. But yeah, it could be a 3 a.m. or it could be like, they can come up in any way, in any combination of ways. Like there are no rules there. It's just like once we have something that's a contender for a certain place, it's usually pretty obvious to me what needs to go in each place, or if we have something that's close and maybe we can push it to fit a certain place and that hasn't been filled yet when we're trying to, put those together. It's my job to kind of direct this piece is so close to doing blah. If we just do X, Y, and Z, now it's going to fit there perfectly. And that place is covered. That theme is covered. That motif is covered. And so, yeah, there's a handful of those in this and every Destiny release, but there's also like the ones that keep coming back that are just, the gravy, as you mentioned before, those are part of the Guardian.
Dude, I love it, man. I love it. Because going back to past expansions and we're talking about those themes, and again, I gotta salute the team because I know me being the Warlock and Osiris fanboy, I have to mention this. Curse of Osiris. I know the soundtrack from a gameplay. I mean, the game, the expansion itself, from a gameplay standpoint, a lot of people weren't happy with. But from a musical standpoint, this thing was amazing. And one thing I got from it, very Egyptian, there's a track particular that really resonates. It's called Tree of Probabilities. And this thing is like angelic to me. It is amazing what is going on, right? I feel like I'm in the middle of Egypt and there's pyramids around me. It's something happening when that track comes on. So again, what I did notice, what you said, like that theme kind of some parts of it, that theme resonates in other songs and other tracks of that soundtrack. And I thought that one was another one. How did you guys get to that place as far as particularly that expansion? Was that, what did you guys say, hey, we feel this should be a more of an Egyptian thing, or again, collaboration with narrative team or anything like that? I was very curious because I absolutely love that one.
Yeah. I mean, like always, the process comes from us getting the information. So like once we know, okay, this has these elements to it, we'll put our spin on it and then have those conversations. And that, like most of them was a thing that we kind of just felt was the right approach. And yeah, it worked in that case. And that's what we went with. But like you mentioned, the themes that kind of recur in many of the cues, like just more broadly and musically speaking, yes, that theme in that release or that theme of one of the themes in that release will come back in different ways and different palettes. And the palettes are like the production choices of this combination of instruments and this arrangement or this combination of techniques that accomplish this sound. And so sometimes, like to that point, we'll have a melody that does what you're explaining, but then we'll also present it in a completely different palette and production and arrangement where it doesn't sound like that at all. And those like breadcrumbs, if you will, kind of connect the dots and make the whole experience cohesive from a musical standpoint.
No, you nailed it. I gotta steal one more question because he's on to something where I was going to go, which is again what he just said, that thread, that connective tissue, that kind of theme. And again, where it happened, which is again one of my favorite tracks of Forsaken. You guys don't get enough credit. I feel it's the greatest raid theme ever. When I heard this track, it was Forsaken. I believe this track's called Shell of What Was. when that thing, when that hits, it's on. Like that, man. So and not only was I was like blown away from it, then
Well,
I
that's the
heard
Queen's
like
Walk, isn't it?
yeah, whatever.
Okay,
I think
yeah.
on the soundtrack it's called that.
I
Then
was like,
think
where it
Scarrow-
is yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's called Queen's Walk. So Shelby was Queen's Walk, but then there's also a piece of that. And shout out to Fortes if he's in the chat. When you play Gambit, and you know get drifters talking, and it's that same theme. You know what I'm saying? Dun, 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 dun. I absolutely. That's one of my favorites. Shout out to everybody involved with that one. Greatest rave music. Period. I'm on the edge of my seat. Salute.
Right on. Well, yeah, like I said, thanks to the team. I mean, we have a great group of people that we work with, and none of what we do would be what it is without them. So,
salute, man.
So,
Great
like,
job,
one of mine
Jay.
is kind of asking, like, what is your kind of asking like a process piece to understand, like, when you go to write a piece of music, and you may not have done Whisper, but I have to mention Whisper because that is such a unique whole ball of wax in there, because the tone, the ominousness, the color, like that whole thing was put together, and that's like a one-off too for you guys when you get to do that. Like, you're like, here's one mission, not like a whole expansion. Here's one mission, very unique from a lot of things. When you go to start, like, you know, writing that piece of music, the themes, the like behind the scenes tunes and stuff that are going on in there, where do you start? Is there like instruments you start messing with first? Do you want to work on like the little, like a little melody part and build around that? Like, where do you begin, and what's your process to like just build a piece of music? I know that's the cliche of what's your process, but yeah, it's like, I know.
Yeah. The answer is yes. It happens in every possible way you could think of. Sometimes you do start with a melody. Sometimes you start with a sonic choice, or a palette, or a production aesthetic, or, you know, like a vibe. Like, I want this emotion, and I could get it 20 different ways. Which way feels right? It's kind of an exploration, but a lot of times it just kind of happens naturally. Like, you're looking at the thing that you're building, and it makes decisions for you. And as a composer, your job is to kind of listen to those and follow, but also kind of like walking a dog. Like, you got your leash, and you're saying, yep, you can go that way. Oh, no, don't go over there. You know what I mean? Like, you're kind of guiding the process, but like, it's happening through you in a way, not like you're not necessarily, it's almost like you're listening more than like trying to write something out. You're like, where does it want to go next? And letting it tell you. But then if it wants to go next somewhere that doesn't fit, and your job is to keep it constrained into where it does fit, like, don't go off the path, puppy. Like, in that analogy, you got to kind of constrain it and hold it back, you know, or direct it in a different way that works. And I guess that's kind of like a little bit of a side tangent to your question, but like, in general, like with Whisper, we started with a very specific visual and like a very specific vibe that we were trying to hit. And the direction we went with the score was very much influenced with that, like that visual and the goal, and what is it going to feel like right off the bat. And it was like one of the first times we'd done something that was that different, and it was really a blast because of that. So
yeah, that one specifically is one of mine, because I spent way too much time in that mission anyway, so I learned the music very, very well. But just the fact that it was so different from so many things, the like Zal talking to you occasionally in the background, and just like the like longer like bass notes that would kind of come through and just kind of linger for a little bit. Just so much in that one was just like a stark contrast from like, hey, it's all bright on, and it's just instantly dark in this like sideways angular cave. You're trying to understand, you're trying not to die, and then like in the background, like and that's why I like what you guys, the way you said that is, any song that you guys put into the game, wherever it goes, in Whisper, a raid battle, a strike, a lost sector, wandering around the world, it tells a story. And that's like the story and the journey that we get to go on when we hear some of the music that you guys put together. The game would be empty without it. It has amazing gunplay. Like, tell everybody at Bungie, we love all their work. There's no question. But it's like each piece of it builds together. And that's why I was like, when you harp on the teams, but like when you hear the soundtrack building the world, and it's, I guess the weird compliment is sometimes when you don't notice things as much as when they're almost doing the things the best. Like, the music is doing what it's doing so well that I'm not like, oh, this note I heard. It's like, no, like I feel like I'm in a weird area, and the feeling comes from everything coming together. And that was just kind of a compliment I wanted to pay to all of you guys. I did want to ask you quickly though, like, when it comes to, because I've seen you do even some like teaching tutorials about music software and stuff like that. But we also talked about Notepad. Do you have a preference? Like, I mean, you picture I was talking to somebody like, what would you ask a composer? They're like, well, do they prefer handwritten or software? It's like, are there ups and downs to software versus like old handwritten things? Or do you have a preference one way or the other? I'm sure it's both, but I guess there's probably ups and downs, but I was curious your thoughts.
Yeah, no, for sure. It is both. And I guess it's also context. Like my favorite way to compose is with an instrument, like whether it's like pick up the guitar or pick up, a vibraphone or a keyboard or whatever and actually play it. Like that's kind of how I got into music, was playing music. So for me, that's the most natural way. But playing music as a composer is more like hearing it in your inner ear and then making it happen, making it come into existence from there. And there are so many ways to do that. I think, the paper version, I love that. That's kind of where I started, as a student of music, was like writing it down and like then bringing that to a group of people to play it. Because as a performer and a musician, like that was kind of my introduction. And then later I got into production and actually using, computers and software and all the fancy tools we get to use nowadays. And now I love that just as much. And so for me, it's more like, what do I have available? Like if I'm on an airplane, I'm going to write it on a notepad or, on paper with a pen or a pencil, or maybe I'll hum it into my phone and like go back and produce it later. Like the tool is almost irrelevant. It's more just getting the idea across. And so I like to explain it to people as it's like playing an instrument. Like you want to have a facility with whichever of them you're using to the point where you're no longer focused on how you use the tool, whether it's a pen and paper or a computer. It's more like your goal is to get the idea out, and using the tool is completely secondary and not at all in the way. And like that's the ideal version of it. And so yeah, while all those different kinds of tools are fun, like a phone's probably the easiest. Just hum it in your phone and then you come back and deal with it later.
Humming on an airplane might get to some people, but no.
Yeah, but you do it quiet, like I've done it before.
Are you still sleeping?
Yeah, you just got to do it really quiet and turn away from them, like.
But that's like that. I was like, and I don't mean this in a bad way. It's like you sound very much of a creative mind, and like that's one of those things when there are bones in your body that like do not exist in mine for the way you come about, like the way ideas come to you and the creativity and stuff like that. I'm always so jealous. So that's why I'm always very curious about the process. So it's very cool to get a little bit of inside your head.
Right on. Well, my take on that stuff is anybody can do it. You just, it's like you practice. You might be okay at basketball, but you get really good by playing. You're not going to get good by watching it necessarily. And so it's like a muscle you got to flex and you got to exercise, so to speak. So
absolutely, man. Well said. Now, I know we've been bloviating about kind of like stuff we like and stuff like that. But what about you? Like any, obviously it doesn't have to be beyond life. You can talk about it, but anything as far as Destiny Universe specifically, are there any tracks that when they play, it really resonates with you? You remember that like they're special to you? Do you have any babies that you hold dear? Like these are my things.
He's
right
like,
here.
I can't say those.
I know you're supposed to pick your favorite kids, but do you have any favorite children?
Well, see, the problem with that is not the favorite children. It's the ones that you don't want to focus on. It's like, I guess the answer to that question is more like, which ones don't I want to hear again?
That's a good point.
No, but like, yeah, there's some that I love, and every time I hear them, I'm still like, yeah, okay, that came out cool. I'm still okay with that one. And there's some that's like, oh man, I wish I had like another week to change this and that about the other one. But like that's with everything. Like there's a great saying, and I forget. I wish I knew who said it. I don't know who said it, but as a musician, as an artist, as any kind of creative, you don't ever finish. You just force yourself to stop.
Yeah.
Okay, it's hands off time.
That
it's
is 100% true.
Even if I don't want to be ddone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But no, there are definitely some favorites. I mean,
give me one
across the board. Like I love many of them. I love the House of Wolves theme. I love Rise of Iron. I love Bow to No One. I love like Journey, parts of Journey. Like
Journey's fine.
there's too many to mention, right? But there's also a few that I would be like, yeah, don't listen to that one again. Or if I had my way, I wouldn't put it on my radio. Like, it's not like I don't like it, you know. It's just like I wish I could have changed that little thing right there.
Thing, okay.
Yeah, you know, that kind of thing.
Okay.
It's like you're like, once it out there, I'm stuck with it, and now you're like everybody. You're like, oh, I love this thing. You're like, I've heard it so many times now.
Well, there is that, and I guess that's the the thing that kind of is a good metric is like if you've heard it so many times and you still don't mind it after a while, all right, maybe it's not that bad. But like if you start to get bothered by it, maybe it could have used a little more time.
So, in that same vein, are there moments like that where you go to yourself, like you said, I wish I had more time, I just need to tweak this, but it was just so well received, and you're just like, well, okay. Like, is there those moments happen?
I'm trying to think of any. I mean, generally, I kind of feel like our intuition is pretty right on. Like that, if we don't like it, it's probably not going to be received all that well. And part of my job is to not just make the music, but to put the right music in the right places. And so I generally, if I have one that I'm not super, super keen on, I'll put it in a place where it's not super, super like central or focusing. Or
you
focus,
go sit over there in the corner.
Yeah. You could take the bench on this one.
That'll be the Tess Everest theme when you go.
But no, I mean, for the most part, like we don't want to have those. And when I say that, I'm totally joking because they are things like, yeah, I like that cue, but that one riff, like I wanted to change this note, or man, I wish I could have recorded that one more take to like fix this part of it. Or, you know what, it's just things that that you wish you could have done better that maybe nobody else is ever bothered by. And so there's really no like actual, I hate that cue. It's just like,
got you.
No, I just wish I could have polished it a little bit more before we sent it out into the world, that kind of thing.
Enough.
I was like, and I kind of wanted to ask, like, in that vein is when it comes to like, you could polish something forever because everybody always like, it's like, well, there's this, that, the other, and you kind of have to make yourself stop. But it is interesting. I kind of wonder, just like looking through the entire soundtrack, you have tracks that are like maybe almost under a minute and a half, and you have some others that are like 5 minutes long. When it comes to like even just the length of some of the tracks that you guys make, is it based on where it goes in the game for how long it needs to be? Or is it just like you build a piece, it is that length, and then they kind of use it where they need to? Is it just like this song needs to be 2 minutes long, period? And it sounds good here? Or are there needs for like longer and shorter songs?
Yeah, it totally depends on several things. One is, and there are pieces that are much longer than 5 minutes. What's on the soundtrack is usually, in some cases, it's like exactly what's in the game, but in many cases, it's not. In most cases, it's not. It's usually curated for the soundtrack, which may mean shortened or abridged or edited. But to answer that question, I think it depends on where it's going in the game, and it's kind of our job to not only just determine where the music is going to go to help tell the story that we're telling, but also to keep in mind what it's going to do in the gameplay, because we are also the ones who put the music in the game. Like we script it and implement it and do all that. I mean, designers will often write the script, but sometimes we'll actually write the script. But usually they'll write the script following our spotting session where we talk about, hey, this is where the music needs to do these things. And then we go and put it in. And so having that information informs how we write the music or how we cover that activity or those activities with the music. And so, yeah, sometimes it's like, oh, we know this context, it's going to be blah, 90 seconds should be good. Or, man, we need 6 minutes here. I think little ones are having fun out there.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah. I know we're up against the wall.
Yeah, it's almost bedtime for them.
That's fair enough. No, this is real cool. Just understanding, like I said, that process and stuff like that. And just like I said, just looking at your journey and seeing where you came from, as far as in the games industry specifically, it's pretty impressive. So you actually went back to drums on this project, correct? On Beyond? Okay.
Yeah,
Can you talk about that?
There's generally a little bit of drums on every release, but sometimes it's like, I'll play a part because the cue needs it. I've done a little bit of guitar and bass over time, and now with Josh on our team, he's a much better guitar player than I am. So I'm pleased to let him do the guitar playing. As like all the guitars on Shadowkeep are all Josh, and but yeah, it's like whether the score needs it and whether we play it or not. A lot of times we'll do a lot of that internally and like just recorded on site or now at home. But you know, certain things like we're not equipped to record an orchestra. We're going to go and do that at the studio and outside of our usual studio, I should say. But
no, fair enough. And to follow up with that, just in reference to, you know, gaming yourself, you know what I'm saying? Obviously your schedule is, you know, immense. You got so much on your plate going on, and I can only imagine the demands of Bungie at times. But, you know, the question for you, like, you know, do you get a chance to, one, play Destiny, or just in general, like, your gaming? I know you got a lot of Halo and stuff in your background and stuff like that. Do you get a chance to really game, man?
Less now than I used to. Partly work, but also family. You know, like being a dad definitely takes more time in the best possible way, but it does eat into my my chance to play games. I mean, there were years where I played probably way too much, and now I'm on the other end of that extreme. So
it's good. It's good to be both.
Yeah, but I do get to play still, and I would like to play more than I get, you know, more than I have time to. But it's enough to kind of feed the need, so to speak. Yeah.
You got one?
Yeah. And again, you just got to let us know on time. So we always want to be respectful there. So let us know. One that I did want to ask though is you have Destiny 1, you've got some kind of established themes there. You've got now, especially as we're literally going beyond light, toying with the Traveler and Light, Pyramids and Darkness, and it's multiple subclasses. This whole like thing is going on. I know there can be a lot of challenges for composing, especially as like, because like I kind of want to ask you two things. One, what for you is like the most challenging aspect of composing music for Destiny itself? And then two, now that we're in this space kind of going forward, is it hard to balance like light and dark, good versus like, is that planned to you at all, where you kind of have to almost have like a heroic, ominous theme at the same time? Is that like an issue? So kind of two things. Sorry.
Yeah, no, all good. I'm going to answer your second question first because it's fresher. And no, I mean, that's actually one of my favorite parts is getting to do that. It's like, it's a joy and a privilege. So, you know, like musicians and composers and probably all creative people like a little bit of variability. I certainly do. And it's nice to have that, you know, change of focus or change of palette. And Destiny is amazing for music in that regard because there's so much variability in what we get to do, not only from release to release, but just, you know, within the palettes that we create in the world and the game. And that's a really fertile playground for a composer. So that light and dark, like, you know, you were talking about, no, it's more than anything. It's just a ton of fun to get to be thinking about that and, you know, how it's evolving and tracking all that, writing for it, all of it. And I think your first question was challenges.
Yeah. Just kind of what's like one of the more challenging things about composing music for a game? Like what's one of the harder parts just within the whole job? Sorry.
And I think that answer, no, it's all good. That answer totally is going to be different for every person because everyone's situation is different, right? But I guess for me, I think the most challenging part is that it's like the composing, while it's one of my favorite things to do, isn't my primary job. And so I have many other responsibilities that eat up a lot of my time. And so composing isn't the thing I just do. I don't get to sit down every day, all day and just write music anymore. So if there's a challenge, it's not so much a challenge, but it's more that balance means that when I get to compose, I'm like 100% in the zone because I know, okay, this is my window. I better go. So it's kind of like perform on demand, go. And you know, like, fortunately that works for me. Like not everybody would, but it's a thing that I kind of enjoy. Like
that's cool, man.
Especially since the alternative is like, oh, maybe I'm not gonna get to write because I have 30 minutes right now and none until tomorrow. I'd rather write for that 30 minutes. So while it's not really a challenge, I guess it's a thing that I have to be careful with to make sure that I'm, you know, maintaining the balance, basically.
Absolutely. You got to be cognizant of that. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, I know I've been on my, you know, full pit as far as the whole award thing, and I'm going to continue to pressure the Game Awards every year by shouting you guys out of why the Destiny game's not nominated. But one thing I did realize was that, you know, you guys wanted ASCAP 2017, man. Was it Video Game Score of the Year? Destiny Rise of Iron. So you, Paul, and Michael with that share that award. Like, how was that experience to be celebrated in that regard? How was that?
That was pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, ASCAP's a cool one too, because that's like the Composer's Choice Award, and ASCAP, for people who don't know, is a society of like music makers, and so, you know, being nominated and even winning an award from a group of your peers is a pretty cool thing.
That's what I'm going to sleep with at night to feel better about the snub on Video Game Awards. Because I'm like, I'm the one complaining. And you're like, look, my peers recognize our greatness. Okay? So you're good. You sleep at that. I still toss and turn. I'm going to speak to Jeff Keighley. We're going to get it right. Now, I think it comes down to a stipulation with expansion. But look, man, we got to change the process. We're going to start the process right. That expansion should be included as nominees every year. Started by Lord Cognito here. You heard it here first. Skye, your first vote. Beyond Light's amazing, man.
Right on. Well, thank you. Yeah, no complaints from me there. I mean, the cool thing is there is just so much good music. I mean, video game music is turned into a whole other thing from what it used to be. And so, I mean, not that you know, like the Mario Brothers theme is iconic and nobody will ever forget that. But you know what I mean? Like, music in video games is definitely evolved, and so there's always amazing music, and so I have no qualms with what's going on there, because the music that gets nominated and wins, it's always great. So,
oh man, you got that ass cap. Good.
I'm good.
You got anything for our guest? I don't know how he's doing on time.
I was going to say, I wanted to ask first, is like, how are you on time? Do we need to wrap this up for you?
Yeah, I probably should sign off here pretty quick.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I've got a dog barking here for a minute too. So
yeah.
Basically, I just wanted to ask one more thing. What class do you main?
Yes.
Okay. Well, D1 was Warlock. Most of D2 was Hunter, and I'm just starting to play now as Titan.
Okay.
I'm still playing a little Hunter. Like I guess my main is still Hunter right now.
All right, so you lean Hunter.
Right now, yeah. I mean, I like them all for different reasons. If I had time, I would be playing like all of them all the way. But you know, right now it's not an option.
You're lucky enough to pick one.
To pick one.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to sneak this in before it leaves too. In reference to character, any favorite NPC in Destiny?
Oh yeah, the sweeper bot.
Salute to the sweeper bot.
That's amazing.
Look, man, Skye, man, really appreciate the time you take. We know how busy you are, man. I mean, man, what an enlightening interview, and just to hearing the process and what you guys go through. Truly humbled to have you here, man. Definitely a pleasure. Absolute.
Likewise. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh,
appreciate it.
Believe me, it was ours. Maybe next year, whenever Witch Queen comes out, we'll rack your brain about what's going on in the world. Hopefully, it's a different state by then. But
yeah.
But look, man. I mean, like I said, I know you got these guys doing, but what could I know? Obviously, not on social media, but you know, what can the fine people look out for you in the future, or anything's got cooking, anything you want to promote? You know, the floor is yours as far as the team or anything you want to talk about on your way out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not much of a promoter, but like, if you like the game, please keep playing it. And we love doing what we're doing, and we're having a blast. And you know, otherwise I might be flipping burgers. So who knows? You know, just grateful.
Buy the soundtrack so he doesn't flip burgers, y'all.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I love cooking hamburgers too. So
hey, a good burger is tasty. But yeah, I'd say like seems like music is. It's very, very clear that music is something that is like your passion for sure. I mean, it comes through in any interview I've listened to, like the way you describe what you do. I would just say everybody in the Destiny community is very lucky to have all of you and your team and everybody at Bungie. We always can probably never say thank you enough to all of you guys.
Yes. Thank you so much.
And right back at everybody. I mean, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing without everyone who plays the game. So thank you guys.
Much appreciated, man. Thank you for everything you do. A pleasure to have you. What the Destiny music community and everyone that appreciates what you got. Like, again, this is tremendous, man. Keep up the fantastic work. And we look forward to more greatness as you continue on, man. So salute,
Right on.
Lord Skye Lewin, the legend.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
No doubt, brother. Have a good one.
So we are back for part 2. Skye had to take off and hang out with his family and everything. But now it is just Cognito and I, your two co-hosts, hanging out, talking about everything that is Beyond Light and Season of the Hunt. We were off last week, so we've got a lot to talk about. So I have no idea how long this part of the podcast is going to be, but we got a lot of things to cover. And yeah, Cognito, man, how have you been? How's Cognito been treating you? I know we had console launches, so you're a little away, but you've been neck deep in it, like 36-hour straight, like chunks at a time. So how you feeling? What is everybody doing?
Yeah, like it felt so good finding the last 3 days to really grind. You know, the first week, like you said, 2 consoles are out. Didn't get a chance to play at all because I actually policed myself. I said, if I start Destiny, I have literally $1,000 worth of hardware in my living room that I'm not going to play. And that's not going to happen. So I need to have some discipline, not launch Destiny, play everything else, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, the games. And then right around Monday, I'm like, okay, I got to get going, right? This is, you know, I want to do Raids for Worlds first. And I think the only thing I snuck in the first week was, I ain't gonna lie, was that the exploit or the shout out to that lost sector, the EDZ. Shout out to the EDZ.
Get to that soft cap real fast, 1200.
Ooh, got to that 1220 kind of smooth. I was like, yo, I don't got much time, so let me at least log in for this. So shout out to those that put me on to that. But yeah, after that I didn't touch it. And then Monday I went back. But yeah, this is what it's been, man. I've been you know, doing a campaign, rocking out narratively. Let me just get some things out the way.
Yeah, it's like just unload. Here we go.
Let's go. Narratively, they're in a good place. They are doing some things that are truly amazing. When we talked about Europa, you know, things with the stranger, learning so much about LC, you know, and just everything with the Fallen and leading up to Aramis and stuff like that, I thought was very well done. You know, I really enjoyed the campaign. I felt I got a lot of backstory on Fallen Elixir culture and stuff like that. We all knew Aramis was going to be about it there, but for the most part, thought that was cool. And then leading into, you know, where we are now, which is the hunt, and I didn't know how dire the situation was with my man, with the guard. The guard Osiris he's in dire trouble. I thought it was. Okay, put it this way. When you sent me the thing and you was teasing me and you said what Bife had said, like, you know, you guys got to stop complaining that Osiris got slapped and stuff like that. Yes, I was one of those guys that wasn't feeling that. After now doing that story and then reading the lore, have you read the lore?
I haven't yet. I need to.
Oh, boy.
I mean, I've seen people crying, so I know what happened, but I haven't read it all.
So you're
yeah.
Oh, boy. Okay, so first off, yeah, there would be a reason why he could be in that state weakened and slapped by anything running around him for him to do what he did. So basically, the long and short of it is this. Obviously, when you start that mission, which is amazing, you hear Glint and you're like, yo, who's Glint? I thought if there's going to be, it's supposed to be Pulled pork. I'm like, what the hell is Glint? Okay, cool. You get down there, they like go to the moon, Osiris is in trouble. Okay, cool. Then you hear Sagira is dead. What?
That's insane.
What? So my man could catch the final death. Like, no. So I'm like, oh, this is spooky, right?
Yeah.
You have to go to wait till you get to Dark Future Law. Yeah, so I'm like, oh, this might be a Cade situation if we don't get down there. So you get down there. Now, here's the thing. You do the save, then we get to the cutscene that we see, and then obviously Aldrin comes out, fire. And then the Aldrin thing is amazing in a sense of what Spider did. Spider is just, he's a snake.
Yeah.
I saw him wandering around the shore, and I didn't tell him who he was, and I modified his ghost, and if he dare step us off the table.
He booby-trapped his ghost or whatever.
Bro.
Somebody actually, I forget where. It's either in Discord or one of my, probably haven't been streaming because my internet sucks. No, it was somebody said, like, why is it Glint and not pulled pork? I don't know if you know. I don't know if it was somebody like made it up or there was a reason, but it was like Glint. Like, I don't know if it was Spider. Spider always wants a ghost. He's like rotating him as like a little thing in his hand. So it's like the glint in his eye. Somebody, I don't know if that's like a common theory or somebody said it or wherever I saw that, but it was like why it's called glint is like it's kind of the like spark in his eye or like, you know, that thing that he like really desires, and it's like that glint, that little like startup like. And I was like, that would actually make sense. As he kind of like modified and had the ghost and may have, given it a name or whatever, but Glint. It was like somebody said that. It was like, if it's not true, that's probably one of the best things that makes sense for me. So I'm going to roll with that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I think, again, narrative wise, I just want to talk about narrative first. And now that we got so much to talk about the game, but, the thing, again, after I didn't realize how serious it was. So I got to take back my upsetness about when I first saw the reveal. But when you read that lore, I think it's called Immolant or something like that.
Yeah.
The one with Sagira as an outline image. Read that. It is powerful stuff. So basically what has happened, and the long and short of it is, when the plans start disappearing, stuff like that, Osiris does go to Zavala. They are communing. Zavala's like, yo, I'm not sending you no help for this threat you think you see, you think is going on in the moon. We got Europa to handle. These are where the resources are going. So Osiris is like, okay, fine. He goes to, 2 drink men. Yeah, that's what's up. So he goes to the moon or whatever. And come to find out, like I said, there's even a rafting, they start hearing things, the supplicant, all this stuff's going on. They venture down. Sagira's like, I don't know if we should do this. You're solo, you're already weakened from moving around. Yep. I don't know if this is a good idea for him. He still goes, he's like, look, we're not getting no help. He gets so deeper down into the moon where he has the supplicant, we have Crota's children, all in one area. So Osiris is like, look, I could get them all out right now. This is the opportunity. And Zakira's like, I don't know. Like, it's risky. We should call the Vanguard. He's like, look, I'm going to take this shot right now. Now, here's the cool part. That's the part they don't talk about. See, everybody laughing at my man, but it's the cool part of the lore. You realize Osiris uses more than just Dawnblade. He used Dawnblade, Nova Bomb, Chaos Reach. So he's killing Mad Hive, Mad Crota's children, all this other stuff. He's almost at his goal. But then this, I think they call it the supplicant or something. Whatever this thing of Zevra is crazy powerful. And then that's when they get a hold of my man. And all of it stops. So, yeah, then basically he's in trouble. He's bound. And now he's about to get his light sucked out of him, right?
Yeah.
So Sagira then is like, look, both of them are like, look, we're not going to make this, right? So in one of the coolest moments, he goes, look, tell Saint, like bro stuff. Like there's a couple of moments like this where they actually do the stuff that me and you complained about with this the bromance that should have been talked about more. Because it happens during the mission too, when Osiris thought he was going to die, the Guardian saves him, and he's like, hey, tell Saint this, and then Argos says, no, you tell him yourself, because we're going to save you. You know what I'm saying? But in the lore, it's kind of a moment between Sagira and Osiris, and basically, it's like one of us not going to make it alive. So then, in like Matrix-like Transformers fashion, Sagira kind of does we got to touch, and just I don't know if she the way I read it. I could be wrong. It felt like she did some move where I don't know if it's a sacrificial kind of move to eliminate the hive or whatever that was going on for him to help him escape, but at the expense of her own life.
So, I mean, having not read it at all, my only comparison would be what the Traveler did to Gaul.
Yes.
Something along, if you're saying it's like she sacrificed herself, she used the power of the light that was inside of her to defeat what was in front of her, but at the sacrificial nature of herself. But it took that. The Traveler was bigger and had enough and shattered, but was still kind of there and wounded and slowly built herself back up, which... It looks real smooth, by the way, now. That's what it sounds like. She sacrificed the power of the light from the Traveler that was within her to save him. What it sounds like.
And it was the way it's so well written. It's done. Shout out to Durad. He my man. Yeah, he attributed that. See, you read the lore. Now I feel good about it. I'm like, no, he went out and he's crazy weakened. I'm good with this. But yeah, Sagira. But I'm gonna be real with you, E. Can I say something? Then I'll give it right back to you after all this lore stuff.
Sure.
I think this is a creative way for Bungie to say, look, because let's be real, Osiris been back for a while. We haven't heard the Sagira voice actress for a long time. My inside baseball theory is that she's either too busy, because you know how it is sometimes with these Bungie actors, voice actors and voice actresses.
Yeah, it was the girl from Deadpool.
Yeah, she's probably got a lot of stuff going on. She can't, so they like, look, we got to wipe his ghost out. You know what I'm saying? But I will say this, it adds depth to the story and it makes him now vulnerable. He can get the final death now. And last question I gotta ask you, does Saint don't have a ghost no more either, right?
I honestly couldn't tell you.
I
don't know. I don't picture. I don't know if he ever like pulls the ghost out, but if he's still a guardian doing what he does, I would imagine he does. But I don't know of a reference to it.
I don't know. Because I want to say that there's 3 now ghost lists. You know, Eris, him now, Osiris, and I was going to say Saint. But anyway, that's where I'm at with the narrative. I know you wanted to let you go into about what you've been feeling about the game, and I know we got gameplay to discuss. So I want to talk about quality of life things, but I just wanted to get that lore stuff off because I read that all the way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for me, first thing, they're doing a much better job at storytelling. Now, sadly, Aramis was exactly what we expected. She was the campaign boss. Now, I will say the campaign was longer than I expected with the missions, kind of the way they handled some of that. But I will say the first thing that started right, the storyboarding, when I booted up the game,
bro, I
lost my mind. I was like, thank you.
Yes.
That was probably one of my happiest moments to see them do that type of storytelling, because we just got done playing Ghost of Tsushima that did that stuff very well, kind of explaining the demons. And they did that in this, and I was so excited about it, because you can't always afford to do cinematics for certain things. But if they want to tell the story in the game, is a great way to do it. Bro. And that was like, you got to see the Fallen without their masks on, and you get to see their faces and the 4 eyes and everything. And I was like, the way they went through and explained some of that stuff was so good. So that was like, that was literally where it started for me. I was like, well, that's already a win. So cool. And then for me, it was a lot of Europa, Beyond Light, the Stranger, going through the story, kind of understanding what is going on. And you have what you're talking about with Osiris is like your big win, but it's like, I mean, I bought the damn Stranger statue, and we are getting more information about her history, how screwed up Clovis is, her relationship with her sister, which you, spoiler alert, by the way, for everything, in case that's not clear. You get to see them two in the same place. You actually get to see them next to each other, and Anna can't take it.
Yeah.
She is not too thrilled as to why. It's like, now Elsie is theoretic. Now, if I've gotten my story somewhat right, the Stranger is the Stranger from another timeline, not ours.
Yes.
So, like, she knows Elsie, but it's not the same one. So somehow there's another timeline. Clovis did the same crap that he did before, but it's a different version. And she's seen, you know, Anna go down a dark path and the darkness consume a lot of people. And like, she's seen some stuff, to say the least. And like, I thought that was a cool way to be like, hey, here's a lost sector. Then you have the lore that she goes into. Like, if you're going to put lost sectors in campaign, they could not have done it in any of a better way.
Bro,
like, you work through, you get to see each of the lost sectors. You kind of get to figure out where they are. But then the best part was you just get to turn around and then you get the story, like, talking at the end. And then it's like, hey, I got this stuff. Then go back and then you get more. Like, whoever did all the dialogue for Elsie did a great job.
She is fantastic as a voice actress.
Yeah.
Like, she's carrying a lot of this weight of this story. And I'm glad you mentioned, because I completely forgot to not talk about that, which was weird. But yeah, like, those moments, every time I go into the, the Bray Research Facility, I look forward to that. You know, you get an aspect or whatever it is. Like, it's just, continue. Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. So, I mean, my big focus has been her, because I think she's going to be the through line. Because sadly, we had Drifter and Eris hang out by the little, campsite for a little while. And then when you finish the campaign, they bail.
Yeah.
So our, Shadow, Vanguard, other 3 Drifters back in the tower. And I don't know, Eris is probably back on the moon camping out there. Like, they were out there for a bit doing her little ball roll cinematic, which is fantastic. She's a beast. Eris,
she's a beast.
I love seeing Eris, be awesome and fight. And then Elsie just comes in, shadow jumping, freezing, everything. She's sick.
Sick.
I want her on my team, but
she's sick.
But yeah, it's like, so then unfortunately it's like you get to see everybody go back where they were. And I was like, that's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
I kind of figured they might be camping out there and there might be more to it, but maybe that's stuff that develops later. I guess we'll
shout
just
out
have
to
to
them
see.
Snooping on everybody with that radio, but continue.
Oh, the radio?
Yeah. Shout out to that.
Oh, I went every time there was a campaign step, I got back to her and she's like, oh, what about this? And I talked to her, talked to him, listened to the radio. Every time I was trying to get the full loop.
Absolutely.
we figured out what the weird dramatic rotating TARS ship was from Interstellar thing. That's our like darkness interaction.
Yes.
And I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on the ghost. Like the way the ghost was torn. I don't know if you've played enough where your post campaign where it actually apologizes to you.
Yes.
Yeah. So like the journey that your ghost goes through in this thing is quite a journey of like, I don't know. Zavala is still in denial, which is we're not going to use the darkness anymore, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, he told me. He goes, well, effective immediately. Your guardians are not allowed. I'm like, I ain't giving this up. You bugging out of here. You got your mind, Zavala. Continue. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like, that one cracked me up. But no, just like the journey that the ghost went on through this one. Shout out to Nolan North, of course.
Amazing performance. Can we, before we get to that, because I know you're about to go in.
You going to go into the fun part?
Bro, can you shout him out for the Drifter invitation? This is why, bro. This is why. Like, listen, I don't know if there's anybody, I don't see Dizzy in the chat. All you Dinglebot, this is why he's the greatest. The range that he has. Now, yes, does he come off whiny sometimes? But he apologized. And you have a moment like that mission where he's like, I'm going to do my drifting. Come on, brother.
Come on, brother. It was, that was so good. Like, so good. That was one of the most unexpected things during, like, there was a lot of, that was one of the more, like, I was surprised they went there, I guess. Yes. Because normally they're, like, kind of serious with the tone, certain things. There's not as much humor without Cade.
I agree.
But it's as, Nolan North did, like, finish up the Cade rap, but it was like, that was the tease at the fun that was nice to see. That was a very hilarious way to end that one. I was pleased with how that one ended.
Nolan, man. He killed that. He killed that. But yeah, you were saying in reference to the ghost, what else you was going to say?
Oh, I think that was mostly it. Just like the journey, because I didn't even expect it later, because you go through and the ghost is like, oh, I don't know. It's like in the darkness stuff. I don't know if I trust us. And you go through the campaign. It was just like a random time that I think I drove down in the Nexus later. And I think it just kind of happens in there sometimes. And it was just like, the ghost apologized straight up to you. It's like, I'm with you, light, dark, it doesn't matter. I'm with you. And that was... I don't know what that does for lore if our ghost, because we have Elsie that has her fish thing. And again, they teased at some point that we may or may not ever get one of those things.
Right.
Because I know Luke said it's like, you won't get one for a while. And I was like, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
One of those things. But generally it was, when the ghost actually finally kind of came to acceptance of like light or dark, they're with you. Now, I don't know if the ghost isn't very effective with dark because it's from the light. So I'm not sure if it's just like, I'm here for the journey. What's up?
Right.
So I'm just kind of curious to see how that plays out. If in the Witch Queen, if we do get a second subclass and we have to embrace more Hive darkness stuff this time or so, however it goes down.
Right.
I'm very curious to see how that relationship with our ghost progresses. But I think they handled it. It was amazing this time through. I really enjoyed that part.
Really enjoyed it. Yeah. Again, great job. I didn't expect that. I thought that, it was going to be played straight and narrow. It's evil. Don't touch it. But, and as it went on, he's just like, look, like you said, I'm riding with you. We've been on this journey together. I trust you. You know what I'm saying? And I thought it was a cool moment. And to me, it's just world building to what we eventually, I think we'll get to. What is it? Lightfall or whatever.
Yep.
And this is where we're going. And we got to touch Stasis. We got to get straight into it. And look, I obviously messing around with. I didn't know what to expect. And it was a bit of getting my bearings about how the powers work and stuff like that. As you go get the fragments or whatever it is.
Aspects and fragments are later.
Yep, the aspects and stuff like that. So for me, I was really impressed with it. I was just like. Let's talk about PvE. This is transformative stuff. Like, jumping in the air, Warlock shooting that thing. I got my freeze thing. And then
you got the OP class to start.
Yeah, Warlock is OP. I can't even.
No, yeah, you got
to tell me how to Titan is. I just know, I was just like, this is ridiculous.
My Titan misses its melee so... I want to censor myself much. It is, my Titan punch is, I'm getting better at the timing, but I still miss a lot. There's a lot, and yours is you just shoot something. and they freeze.
And
I
they
have to
freeze.
I have to hold it, kind of release before I get there for it to finish. Otherwise, I go the wrong direction, or I pass it, or I'm too short. Yours just goes.
Yeah, it just goes. And then, I mean, obviously we got the nerf that happened a little bit today, but it almost is like, what the cool thing about it is, one thing why we Warlocks love Top Tree Dawnblade is the projectile melee. Also,
Yeah,
I believe
it's another one.
yeah, also Middle Tree, Chaos Reach.
Yep.
Like, there's something fun about having a melee, you know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
projectile. And that thing is really beastly. Obviously, I got the other aspects and stuff for the other grenades, the cold snap, the other stuff too. It's really powerful, man. And I'm starting to get into the flow. And even the super itself frees them, one to freeze and then one to kind of
pop.
poof. Yeah. And the radius of the
Is
poof
massive.
is massive. So you could freeze someone, whatever, go around. So I was doing that. I really enjoyed that. I will say, quality of life stuff, there was some things that really stood out to me. One, as a person who specs all the damn time, having all the damn grenade launcher, heavy, arc, void done. Having all the mods.
Oh, yeah. There's certain ones that are solar arc and void still, but like doesn't matter which one I can do. Machine gun, sword, grenade launcher, and pick. That should have been from the start, and we all screamed that from the rafters. Like, it's been. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. The scavenger perks, all that stuff. Then they did all the tweaks, and what I like though, there's a little one that I don't see many people talk about. I like the minor intellect, minor resilience, the 2 point.
The 5s. Yeah.
So you can now spec, really deep spec, and not waste everything. I love the 5s. Those are an amazing addition. We all know anti-barrier. Oh my God. Overload.
Armor.
Bro,
they're all on the arms though.
Yes, all on the arms. That was an interesting choice. So just busted that out. And bust out Iriana's vow, got unstoppable on it with the thing. It's
somebody said in my chat, do they actually stack?
That's a good question.
Because I feel like somebody said they don't.
They don't stack? Okay, I got to test it because I haven't faced it unstoppable yet.
Yeah, it's like I haven't done much champion stuff.
Yeah, I just like the fact that exotics can come into play. You know what I'm saying? Once again.
So much. Yeah.
Yeah. Artifact. Okay. Better. At least they got rid of the middle annoying.
Yeah, the first 3 columns are all like weapon related. There's like reloads, dexterity, but that honestly just tells me they don't know what to put there.
Yes.
If you look at the artifact, the first one is your barriers. Those 2 columns now are like, they're just all weapons, reloads, dexterity for just a little cheaper. And I'm just like, that's not anything exciting. It's like, it's just filler to get to the last 2 functional columns.
Yeah, we know what that is. But I mean, like I said, I like that aspect with the builds. Before I know I'll let you touch weapons, but what I wanted to touch though, what I thought is really cool, and I want to know how you feel about it, was I am a huge fan of the exotic acquiring change. And as far as the lost sectors solo.
Yep.
I was like, he's gotta love, because I think that's cool. Like,
I think it's fantastic. I haven't done them yet, but I think it's fantastic. That gives
I'm gonna attempt mine tonight. Yes.
Yeah, the fact that the armor has to come from there, it makes you earn it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. Like, make people earn the, like, now, soloing the Lost Sector at 1250. You can max out at 1250. You're the right level. You just got to figure out the champions. And once I get there, I'll probably do a guide over those. There won't be too big of a deal. But the fact that it's like, I don't know, like some people may hate the idea that it's a solo thing, but there's a lot of people who probably do play solo. And it's that thing that says if solo, and there's probably somebody in the back of their head that's gone, huh. And it's going to change the way some people think and have to go about it. But it's also a bit more of an accomplishment because, like, if you got that exotic, guess what? You earned it. You actually had to do something to earn it, as opposed to I log in. Here's my duality.
Here you go. I think that's a very underrated change, and I love it. I want more of that. I like that it's targeted to it. It gave. I think it's the evolution of what lost sectors should be, right? You know, in the beginning, they were kind of feeling their way, and then they got a little better. Then they got more expansive as we got to Shadow Keep and stuff like that. I think lost sectors are getting to that point. But when I heard about this, and that these joints are powerful, and then you have to solo it, I really enjoyed it. I'm looking for it. I think today is the necrotic grip. I got to get in there because I need that. Oh, I need
Yeah.
that for my warlock with the thorn, and I need that
I've seen
flow.
that combination. That looks ridiculous.
And they letting us go. So yeah, that's all I want to say with that. I know we'll get to the other things that we don't like, but I just want to focus on the things I like. I do like that. I feel I like a lot of the new, not a lot of them, but I like a lot of the newer weapons that I have seen. Have you gotten that fusion yet?
Yeah, I've got it.
Use that fusion, bro.
Oh, I mean, my roll is trash. I toyed around with it a little bit. It has next to no. I mean, its recoil was like it's its own kind of thing.
Yes,
but it was like my roll was so trash. I just didn't really mess around with it too much. But it is like it's really controllable. Somebody said, well, I think somebody said it was like more horizontal recoil. It's very tight. It doesn't feel as strong. And I was like, it doesn't feel as like if I go pull out a main ingredient, I feel like I can melt like multiple guys, and it felt weaker. So I've got to toy around with it more. Maybe it was just like what happened, but it was like I still got a main ingredient, which we'll get to all the other stuff. But it was like that still felt like a fusion, and that one for some reason didn't feel as strong, and I don't know why. Maybe it's like faster firing, not quite as high power. I got to get my hit, and that could just be me for the little that I used it. I don't know. So I'll just toy around with that later.
I got a perk on it. I got a 1 for all perk, which is a damage buff. I believe hitting 3 targets increases damage for.
Yep.
Yeah, that one it hits like a truck. I'm literally using it to fight bosses. I threw a boss spec on that, and I'm just melting things. It's really a good alternative when you run out of heavy. So I've been having fun with that. I believe what else they got? They got a lot of cool. The Slug Shotgun is really good. I felt the new Slug Shotgun.
The duality, the exotic.
That one's good. I didn't get a chance to play with it too much.
I haven't played with it hardly at all.
I haven't played with it too much because people are running some real sick builds with that. But there's a legendary, the ones that look like power tools, only power tool weapons.
I just don't know there's a Slug Shotgun of those, is there?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's just because the shape is different. Damn, what's the name? It's
I don't even think Bone Chiller, apparently.
That sounds about right.
Oh, yeah,
it's a void. Yeah. It's a void one. It's a void one. Yeah, that one hits hard too. I've had fun with that.
Well, I mean, those got that like buff a while back in PvE where if you can hit that crit, it's going to hit hard.
Yes.
It's just like you got to go risk reward to go get up close. And at that point,
I've been having fun with that. And I like a lot of the new perks.
I like the pulse. Shocking, right?
I know. Which one?
Dude, it's tight though. The new one, the new power tool. Of course, I'll pull up dim and find out. But
what is
this is one of those things. If you ever think somebody doesn't know what they're doing in a podcast, just try and remember everything on the spot. Good luck.
On the spot. Yeah.
Not going to happen. Hail and Confusion.
Yes, it's good. It's good.
Well, I got Okay, so there are new perks.
Yes.
So I got Surplus and Wellspring on my Hail and Confusion. So Surplus increases handling, reload speed, and stability for each fully charged ability. Wellspring kills with this weapon, generate ability energy.
Are you serious?
That's my roll. That was my first
what's
roll.
The first one? What's the first part?
So the first one is increases handling, reload speed, and stability for each fully charged ability. Wellspring kills with this weapon,
what's the name
ability.
Of that first perk?
Surplus.
Surplus. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got Surplus and
Wellspring together. The energy is divided between your uncharged abilities. So if you only use your grenade, it's going to charge that one faster than splitting between all of them.
Fire. That is amazing. Yeah, I like that joint. And there's another post look out for. Stars and Shadow.
I've used that one. I've used it, but my perks again haven't been as good. I don't know what the perks on it are. It's a 340. What's the other one? 390. See, the Hail and Confusion's like that's like my go figure type.
I know. That's you. I already know you already find a hole with that. For me, I'm in such this cold denial bag, but I even feel this one that archetype is very underrated. That aggressive frame pulse, they are really beast in PvE. So the only thing is like the perk pool in Stars and Shadow is insane. It can come with all these different perks. It's immense. But it is a really good, solid, just need a little bit of stability, but it's a solid pulse. The aim down sights is even better too. But yeah, I've been liking those legendaries that I've been dropping. The few that we've had.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
The new Thermal Erosion, the machine gun, which is a whole different talk when it comes to loot, because it's the only new machine gun, but you need a machine gun to get machine gun kills. You're like, wait a minute, what if I'm a new player?
Yes.
Whole different problem. We'll get to the loot here in a minute, but that one is just like, that is 900 RPM bullet hose, just
You know what to me is? I look at it like, okay, Delirium, you're going to fit my Delirium spot as a solo.
That's basically what that is. It's just a bullet hose Delirium. Just kind of
Mhm.
switched over. Now, I will say,
Let's go.
I've been leveling up my other one, but No Time to Explain feels good.
Whoa. Too good.
Have you finished the catalyst?
Yes, got the catalyst. Whoa.
All right,
that
have
little
you
buddy?
done Double Buddy?
Haven't done double buddies yet because
I can't, but you got to tell me how Double Buddy is.
I'm gonna do it. It's just that I'm so in love with Stasis. It's hard for me to take Stasis off and then play
Which is
Arc.
a whole topic for discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, No Time to Explain. You can finish what you want to say there, but it's like, we're going to come right back to what you said first.
No, first of all, again, that archetype, I believe No Time, I believe it's the same as Cold Denial. That
It's a 340.
Yeah, 340s right now hit like a truck. So great for boss DPS. And what I like is you can build up with the headshots on enemy, but it's actually easier to DPS, majors and then keep getting the buddy and keep extending the
it's
buddy.
on hit. It's on precision hit. You just smacked your something.
Good. Yes, it's right there. But yeah, it's so good. Oh my god, I love that thing. That thing is aggressive. It hits hard. That little the little buddy. Yeah, man. No Time to Explain is very impressive. I'm looking at my Outbreak perfected. Like, damn, when can I find a way for you put you back in the mix? Because I might.
It's bye.
Yeah, it's just No Time. It's just
I will
that
say
good.
for the little buddy though, it's what's on screen because there can be something just off, and until you turn it, won't fire at it. Yeah,
they did that purposely because when you do getaway artists is the opposite. Getaway artists will snitch anything around you, even if you don't have field of view. They kind of nerf this in the sense that, like you said, it has to be your exact field of vision. If you don't see it, it don't see it.
Yep.
Which is fair. But yeah, I'm going to run Double Buddy. I want to see how that goes. But it's
I got to know how Double Buddy is. But yeah, it's like, that was one that I was like, and all they did is just give it that little extra. But it was like, it feels good in the meta right now.
Yes.
Now, I will say this is just a small little tip because I forgot about it till somebody probably mentioned it in chat. As a Titan, I need melee kills for things.
Yes.
And as I miss a fair amount with my Stasis melee, I suck at it for a while. I can't. Well, New Red said he yeeted himself off more things than he knows what to do. It's just, what?
That's
Trust
crazy.
me. But
It's
also,
not bad.
now you cover a lot of ground to a point. You can actually travel pretty far. But it's like the timing of it. Oh, dude! Like the first time you ever jump on a Titan and be like, "Oh, I gotta get my Stasis stuff. Oh, I gotta use this melee." What the f is that? Like, you're gonna feel like you don't know how to melee things anymore. I promise you, because everybody else I've seen is like, "Yeah, this melee's rough." Monte Carlo is the nice counter for me to be like, "Oh, I screwed up my melee. Brrr, okay, let me try that again." I forgot about that for so many different things, and somebody said it. I was like,
"Forgot about Monty." You're absolutely right. Why do I not use that gun more? I've been forgetting that gun exists.
I was like, I pulled it out of collections and I was like, I have enough melee things that I need to punch between different activities and stuff that I was like, yep, I'm going to use it. And I've been using the living crap out of it. So if you need the other one, if you need super kills, Bad Juju, don't forget about that as well. So there's not a lot. Now, I also noticed there's a perk when it comes to my wonderful grenade launcher called Thresh. Killing combatants with this weapon generates a small amount of super energy.
Fire.
And then another one I got is called Chain Reaction. Each final blow with this weapon creates an elemental damage explosion on a grenade launcher.
I never got that one.
Heavy grenade launcher, basically picture, why do I always forget the name of this stone? Graviton Lance, the cosmology explosion.
It's that level?
It's that. Or pretty close. It's probably not quite the Catalyst like over OP version.
Yeah.
But it's like explode. Like you get a double explosion with a grenade launcher. You do one, pring.
Which one does it roll on? Which grenade launcher do you have it on?
It's the crowd pleaser.
Is that the Void one?
Yeah, it's the Void one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, I got it, but mine's got Thresh. So I don't got that. I haven't seen that other perk.
I got a spike grenade field prep Thresh that I've been using.
Ooh, nice.
Well, okay, here's another one. You got Chain Reaction. I also got one with Killing Wind.
That's what I got. I got Killing Wind and Thresh on my crowd pleaser. That's crazy. Wow.
So,
love the new perks, man.
Yeah, it's like, so there are some new perks for creativity. You notice none of them are Rampage kill clip related.
Yes.
They at some point want that stuff gone.
Yeah.
My Rampage subsistence gnawing hunger is still going to be my auto rifle all the way up until season 15. And then at some point, they're going to force me to get rid of it. But for now, it's good. I will also say whenever you need to clear ads, Oh, my Trinity Ghoul.
Oh,
Dude,
Catalyst.
that catalyst has made that thing so good.
So good.
You get one kill, just lightning. I'm like, I love it.
There's two requirements now. I get excited when they tell me in the game when I'm for a bounty. One is arc, right?
Oh yeah.
With that, I'll dust off that Trinity Ghoul. Yo, Sunshot is still it, man.
See, I haven't
Sunshot
actually
with the
used that
cat.
since everything came back on. Haven't used it yet.
Bro, please use Sunshot. You're gonna just smile endlessly with the ridiculousness of that. It is the chain reaction. It's insane. It's almost I would say it's slightly better than Graviton, because those are the three as far as I feel with getting really ad clearing elemental kills easy.
Yeah.
Sunshot for thing, what you call it, Trinity Ghoul for arc, and then what you call it, Graviton is still.
Like a lot of people have also been running Risk Runner's the other one too.
Yeah, Risk Runner is really good.
I mean, you also get that shield against a whole lot of fallen stuff, so gives a double benefit. So I mean, it's like it's weird that like old exotics, like a lot of these are quite old. They're getting kind of a fresh life to them.
Yes.
It's like just kind of goes to show that they need to do that to more stuff, but
yes. So let's talk about, have you jumped in PvP there, sir?
Yeah. I've been playing a fair amount of Glory to try and get all those wonderful powerful drops because they're the best place to do it. So many powerful drops.
Oh, shout out to the Destiny show. Salute, brother. He said, congrats on the great guest tonight. Go on, can't wait to catch. Oh, man, yeah. Skye was amazing. Thank you, brother. Really, really appreciate it, man. And we got to work with you, brothers, and get that collabo going. The last word, you already know. But, yeah, man. Yeah, PvP. Let's talk about it.
Well, I mean, things changed today.
Yes.
This episode's like totally out of order, so don't hold a chance that this one's going to be anything but just a weird order of things. But yeah, we got a nerf.
Yeah.
A PvP nerf to Warlock.
Look, man. Before we get into the nerfs, I just want to talk about my experience when I first threw this thing on.
How? Because I didn't get to play it. I only got to face it.
Okay.
How was that?
All right, so I get it. I was terrified to jump into PvP. I saved it for the very last pinnacle, right, of that prior reset. So I was like, all right, I did everything. Gambit's done, which I like. Shout out to Gambit. Quick, easy, fun.
No, well, because like a couple of the two fragments I had, like because I've seen fragments for strikes where you have to kill champions with stasis. Now, granted, Tassia said you can kill those with finishers while having the stasis class equipped, and it still counts. But I don't want to kill 10. You have to kill finishers with stasis. I'm like, the timing of having the ability of in a strike versus with random people, you're like, what the hell is that?
Keep killing and trying.
So
and there's
I didn't do
terrible
strikes.
Yeah.
I don't, and the Crucible is killing people with stasis as well.
Bro.
So I did Gambit on all of my fragments almost.
I got to do that. The one where you got to use slowed on Crucible kills, that is the worst. I hate that with a passion. And it's like 18 kill. I'm like, come on, man. It's brutal. But yeah, to what you said. So I did all stuff, did strikes, whatever. Get to this there. I'm like, all right, wait, what the hell's going to happen in here? This PvP. So I get in there and I'm not going to front. When you do this to someone, it is the funniest thing ever. Like, somebody was aping around the corner. They just had that fell winters. They ready to slide shotgun. Stop.
That's all it is.
It's disrespectful. So I said, oh my God, this is open. Like, it was so busted that I'm like, oh, Bungie don't care no more. They just said the hell with Ballot. They just said, you know what? PvP is going to be mayhem. We're going to let you guys run rampant. It's just hilarious. Like, that first pre-nerf. My main thing is now, when it happened to me, I was like, oh, I don't like this. And you're like, it's like freeze tag.
Oh, yeah, that's just what it is.
Then on top of that, you got to hold it down for so long. I was like, I knew two things. I said, it's too long in freezing state.
Yep.
Then you're losing so much health. And I'm just like, when you bust out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just like, nah, they got to, and again, we'll get to what they did, address with that. And the Warlock super, bro. This thing is so out of control.
Yeah.
Yo, I literally circled the map 2 times looking for people. The meter goes down so slow. I was
Oh
like,
my God.
God,
Yeah.
let me really just do this. Okay.
Yeah.
It was worse than Nova Warp in its prime. I was like, yeah, this is gonna get shut down quick. But I had my fun. I had my fun for a little bit. I will
Yeah, it was
say though,
30 seconds long.
yeah, I will say though, as scared as I was for PvP, and yes, there were some issues. It makes you think different.
Oh yeah.
It changes the sandbox in a way that I knew those certain things were overpowered, but I will say, like, let's not say I'm enjoying it.
I mean,
was
that's
having
that's the
fun.
big debate for a lot of people right now is you have how balanced can PvP ever be? And that's one question that's
Yeah.
always going to be tough. That also depends on if they can ever truly balance, like, hey, does a Warlock melee in PvP travel this far and PvE travel this far? Like,
Yeah.
how much can they balance that stuff? But on the other side, you have some people, Stasis may be like an easy button for
Yes.
some people, but
Yes.
they're also having fun.
Yeah.
I mean, shout out to, Cacus and podcast. It was him, Tashed, and True Vanguard.
Oh,
It's
what
like
they say? Which,
those 3 are, they're definitely pretty elite players up there for all the stuff that they do. And it's like, and they feel for both sides. It's like, yeah, the Warlock is OP, but there are some people that finally feel like they're having fun.
it's
And
a
that's,
weird thing.
I was like, and it's hard to balance that. So it's like some people are saying the Warlock got nerfed, so make sure you play your feedback. More of the changes were done against Guardians.
Yes.
So that's good because there's like the cold snap freeze duration lowered from 4.5 seconds to 1.35 seconds.
That's
like,
big.
That's like, come on, that's like 300% less.
Yes,
like,
that's big.
Same thing. Ice flare
Yeah.
bolts freeze. So like your freezing time is so much lower by the cold snap. The ice flare, which is I guess is your melee. No, penumbral. What is ice flare?
Ice flare.
That might be your super attack because you have
Might be the
penumbral blast
super.
is the melee.
Yeah.
The Winter's Wrath heavy attack no longer affects players who are not encased.
So
it must be
basically,
the ice
that's the
flare
poof.
bolts.
That's
Yeah.
the poof, I believe.
Yeah, that's the poof. But then, like, I guess your bolts, I guess, are the duration of those is all short. But I mean, you're going 4.75 seconds to 1.35 seconds. That's not small. That's 3.5 damn seconds. Like, how is that where it started and that's where they adjust it? Like, that's where they just like, let's see how busted it is. We're going to change it by like 3/4 less. Like, that's a large shift to do quickly, by the way. Normally they wouldn't do something that big that fast. So, I mean, I guess we'll see where it all kind of bounces. Maybe this is the big lower and then maybe they bring it up a little bit if people say it's too weak.
Right. No, I think it had to happen. I think this is 2-1 because obviously when you put it to my, I think the world's first was obviously in jeopardy. I mean, that with the Warlock Super being broken and melting bosses, they had to address that. So I'm glad this nerf happened. But I've been playing a lot of PvP. And I have to say, this is all fair. I think the issue where we think why they got it so wrong is because in PvE, it feels right to hold them in place that long.
Right.
But in PvP, no, bro. Like I'm like it's too long, and you're penalizing me for breaking out. So to me, it should be if you are successful in freezing someone, you got 1 or 2 seconds to get it done. Otherwise, let the person free, and now they're tying it to higher resilience and stuff like that to balance that. Because you should have. It's a 2-part process: doing it and then capitalizing. Now I feel it's a little fair. I can't wait to actually go in there tonight and try it out to see how it feels now. But I felt it was fair. I felt what I read, everything I've read. I was like, "Yep, that's a good nerf.
Yeah.
That's a good nerf. That's a good
everybody that I know of was just like, yeah, it's busted. We got to fix it." And this is probably the fastest they've done these things, which also goes to show how quick they can change some things. Hope now.
And how quickly, like I told you guys, the Warlock supers and the Hunter supers get nerfed with the quickness whenever we run out of control. Those Titans, you guys get a little bit later. Shout out to you, Cactus. I saw that response that you put out to you. I just threw that in. Anyway, continue.
But I mean, granted, trust me, like ours is okay, but it is. This is a very, very different feeling of everything that you do with Stasis. The way you freeze it, the way you shatter it, the aspects, the fragments, the subclasses. And all this does is set up the questions: when the hell is it going to happen to the rest of the classes?
Yeah.
Like the customization, now we're getting the fragments to change up your abilities more and do these different things. And even if it's just like, now, do you think they're going to like completely like revamp the classes? That's why it's going to take them a little while. Or would you just rather see like, hey, do it now, just like shuffle up what's in there and put them aspects, fragments, and give me my stuff? Like, would you rather see it quick, or would you rather see them go deeper into, you know, now your rift freezes stuff? What would the Warlock fire rift, like maybe it sets
When am
people
I
on
getting
fire?
that, by the way? I've been waiting for that. That's the one I want badly. I want that so bad. Where does that come?
Well, that's the big question of what now we're like, okay, so we got our story, we started Hunt, and now we have hit all of the time gating walls that are everywhere. You have the aspects. We have one. We logged in, no new aspect. I could get fragments, but I have one aspect. There's a lot of those. There's Varix.
Yes.
He didn't have more stuff to unlock. He's waiting on more information. And I'm sitting here just accumulating these here, whatever they're called.
Yeah, the
seals.
hair things. Yeah, seals. Yeah.
So I'm like, when are those coming? There's no expectation of like, I thought it was going to be a weekly like progression across that line, but, or maybe if I unlock, no, you just hit all of them and you're done. You're like, okay, why?
Yeah. Time gating. This definitely. There's no dancing around it. We know what this is.
Well, and that's the other thing is now the time gating is just gonna be, oh, you log in, there's new stuff. Bye. I'm just gonna buy everything as soon as like it's open because I'm gonna have so many of those things by the time I'm done. It's not gonna be that big of a deal. But yeah, it's just like the time gating of some. Like we know the season's like 3 months long.
Yeah.
So maybe next week we'll see in it. But it's like if you do that, you're gonna take almost the whole season to unlock all of Stasis. With the aspects, at least. Now, the fragments will be sitting there and they're on every class, but the aspects, they're going to be slow.
They're going to be slow. I mean, I guess I'm torn because, you know, yes, do I want all the toys? Yeah, I want all that. You know what I mean? I just think, again, it's just, I'm not trying to kind of defend them for everything. It's just like, they're in a tough spot with that because it's like, you give it to us, all of it, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, this is what I feel. I feel sometimes Bungie, this is what I think Bungie does good sometimes. I think sometimes I like when they try to force us to just mess with a couple of things first, only because I think us as the hardcore, we tend to look at what's the most effective first. So we'll see, we'll have all these things and we'll be like, okay, this is more effective than that. But then there's times where there's stuff that I feel, like Mercury said that we had on, like, that are really good, but they're not really given a shot because they were launched along something else that may be slightly better that everyone's using as the meta. I'm okay with the aspects and all that stuff being drip feed. I agree with you though, with Varix. I didn't feel good that his stuff is grayed out and I'm sitting on this currency and I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like that part felt weird.
Well, and it's like, that's counterintuitive to the Crow when you can unlock it in a day.
Yes, right. That's the difference. That's the difference.
Like there's no, I guess it's just not consistent at that point because you can unlock his stuff. I saw somebody had it done in like an hour and I was like, holy
Jesus.
I'm like about 6 ranks in or something like that. FYI, if you guys are doing those the hunts, when you go to pick your like the prey, if it says recon, do it because it gives you like 17 instead of 4 or 5.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's
like
currency.
Go dig through because normally you'll start with 2 and then when you unlock Hive, you'll have all 4. If ever you have the option to pick the recon data and you're leveling him up, do that because instead of 4 or when you get the first one, it goes up to 5.
Right.
It's like 17 for one of those instead. And you're almost done with a whole rank right then. I'm like, so just FYI.
How are we feeling about the hunts?
It's like Monster Hunter. I'm trying to think of the right reference here. Monster Hunter, like Natty Light.
Yes.
It's so watered down Monster Hunter. It's not even funny. Here's this thing, weaken it, chase the blood trail, bam, bam, done. Like there's not really mechanics to them. There's shoot the green dude, stand this thing, and half of them. I know I did fight a tier 2, took me a little longer. But the tier 1, that like because I was running around with the fusion rifle for a little while. Stand in there, about 7 shots and they're done.
Yep.
Like,
Facts.
And that's one of those where it's a shooter, sure, and I'm sure there's going to be tier 2, which takes a little bit more like effort and play to the area, and I had to play things a little bit slower. They're short and sweet, which isn't bad. They're a way. I like they are short for grinding for specific things. If you want to go for a piece of armor, for a chest that has high stat roll, specialized in intellect, you can do that. That's really specialized. Now, when people run out of stuff they need, and you still have to do that for, and when you run out of the stuff you need, and then you have to go do them, you're gonna be like, oh,
yeah, after that. And it's 5 of them, right? For the drop. I think we got to do 5 or something.
5 for the drop. If you get to the 3rd rank box, it becomes a pinnacle. So don't pick up your powerful until you can sit there and like go to him, hit escape to go past her, or whatever your back button is to skip the pickup. And then when you get the 3rd upgrade block, it gives you 4 powerfuls instead of 2.
Okay.
And then his bounty challenge turns into a pinnacle.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's why that's going to be worth doing as well. So skip it for a little while because the pinnacle also is going to be a thing. And then here's a giant thing in the room.
What's up?
There's a few bugs in this game right now, dude.
Yeah, some things going on. Some things happening.
I was like, now, granted, they hotfixed probably the biggest one, the boss breaking, doing 18 billion damage to a boss with stasis overload fun.
Right.
But I mean, you have pinnacles that weren't working. You have lost sectors that they deactivate. You have weapons that weren't working. You have a lot of things, not all, but some would definitely get in the way of like raid prep.
Yeah. It was spooky for a little bit, I mean, I'm not used to this level from them, but times are changing.
Well,
by yourself, times are changing.
Yeah, times are changing for one, but two, like you've noticed, like kind of the crispiness of the game, like the new Vulcan API and stuff. Like, I know that's got to be part of it. Now, granted, the game's pretty. Like it's, you can tell the difference in like the visuals. How's the Cosmodrome look, dude? Have you?
Bro, that was amazing. That was amazing.
Dude, I logged in there. I was like, oh, this feels right. That's one of those points because now we're on PC, 60 frames, decent, like everything, like settings are cranked pretty high for our displays and stuff. That is probably what I look like the PS4 D1. That's like going back to play the remake of Zelda is what D1 probably looks like on PS4 compared to what it looks like with the new API on PC. Like that's the difference in my head.
Cosmos, man, and we forgot one thing. I forgot about this. How we not going to talk about how amazing Europa is aesthetically when it comes to the snow buildup.
Oh, dude, when my Sparrow blew away, I lost it. I was like, wait, where's I thought my controller, my mouse, I thought something was broken. I was like, why can't I drive? And then I just sat there and my Sparrow's blown away. I'm like, are you okay?
It's amazing. Then looking at the individual footprints that you make in the snow, you know what I'm saying? Visibility dampening when it's night and it's hard to see. Like the engine, if they're gonna cook up this stuff and put it in vault and bring it back with these type of effects, I'm about that, man. I'm about that because Cosmodrome.
So what is the next weather system you want? Like one they took away. Like honestly, an easy one would be like thunderstorms on Titan. Would have been like beautiful with this system. What do you want to see next? Because the weather on Europa makes sense. It's a giant blizzard. But what would you ask? What would be number 2?
Trying to think of all the planets that we got that would make sense for some type of. I mean, because even what you call it, Europa has the day-night cycle, right?
Yeah, it gets dark.
Day-night cycle. Yeah, do-rad Mars Sandstorm will be fire. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. I can do that. I can do a Sandstorm on that. But yeah, man. I mean, listen, they're killing it. They with the engine, with Cosmodrome, with Europa, and Europa is massive. Like, let's not act like
Europa's got to be.
They could lose a little. They could use a lander zone up top, though.
For the love of God, put one up there.
We could have one.
Everybody, It can't be that hard. Just drop me somewhere.
Yeah.
Just in that, because the campaign made it so much worse. Go up there every single Go back to Varric's, drive up there. Go back to Varric's, drive up there. Go back to Varric's, drive up there. I'm like, I'm about to throw up on this elevator ride. Come on.
Yep. It is massive. Yeah, they said volcanic
storms on
Okay,
Venus. Ooh, see, Venus would be a pretty planet to bring back now. Venus would be so pretty. I remember taking pictures of that of the skybox on Venus with like the blue lava running down the volcano in the background. Dude, I took so many pictures of that.
Yes.
Not even funny. It's so pretty. But no, what I was doing actually, I was sitting at whatever that place is called, Beyond, and then I went to go probably get one of my aspects, and I jumped up on the little ship that dove itself into the snow, and I'm looking out toward the pyramid ship, kind of getting a wallpaper pic of me barely there, kind of in the pyramids in the background. I'm in my menu, changing my settings. I come out and I can't see 5 feet in front of me. And I'm like, where the hell did the pyramid? Oh, that's the weather. I was like, damn. That was one of I mean, you see it blow in and you kind of get, it's close, but that was like crystal clear picture. Can't see, can't see anything. Nothing.
Yo, shout out to Shadow Price in the chat. Salute. Shout out to, he's like, Venus was amazing. Yeah, we know that's your favorite location to do with. Shout out to Shadow Price in there. But yeah, man, I'm with you. Like, it's just so many cool things about, like I said, aesthetically, the time they put in, the weather system, all these different things to create that environment. And I just love going into the abandoned facilities and getting the lore and getting the music. Like when we had Skye on, like just talking about, I love the themes in there. And Clover sounded like a sick dude. All this stuff we rereading, and it's just really done. It's really well done, and I gotta shout them out on that. The only thing now, a little bad, obviously, it's a sunsetting.
Are we going to the negatives now? We're going to the. We've been spraying our sunshine all over this thing.
Yeah, we gotta talk about it, man. Seeing some things come back. What you feel about that?
No, I was like, I think I texted you while I was going through it, and you asked me, I was like, what are your thoughts? And I was like, campaign great, some things good. One of the first drops I got, and also one you get in the story, were a giant glaring example of why it did not feel good. One was the Long Shadow from Varric's. That one is in the wrong place. A Vanguard, put the new pulse in there, put any of the new power tool, blue and red weapons from Varric's. I don't care. But that Long Shadow sitting right there is like, what are you doing there? Why? Why are you there? But that was one. The one that hit me worse was when I got a Scorn armor plate as one of my first drops on Europa.
Yes.
That's the one that burned me. That's the one that burned me the most. I'm like, what the hell is this doing on this planet? Why is it even here? This is 2 expansions ago. This is related to the Scorn. I mean, talk about taking me out of the zone there of Destiny. Is like, I honestly just did not. I saw the Scorn and I was like, no, get out of my inventory. I don't want you there. I was like, that did not feel good. I'll be completely honest. That was bad. So no, it was like, I mean, sunsetting is one of those where, I mean, yeah, sunsetting needed to happen to some extent. We all can kind of understand there are things that needed to happen. Apparently there's sunsets and planets too, but what's up, Justin? Thank you for the sub. Appreciate that.
The Titan, is that the Titan?
But like that, like when we're seeing just the world loot pool didn't get much of a change.
Right.
And the sunsetting is still like now they're almost backtracking it partially, which we'll talk about as well, which is a thing. And you're like, okay, so the sunsetting works if you fill the holes you take away.
Exactly.
And I knew this was going to be one of the biggest hits to everything. It's the most strikes that ever leave. It's the most weapons that will ever go, because now we're going to be building stuff over the course of a year.
Right.
But we lost so much, and it doesn't feel like we got much at all.
Yeah, we lost a lot. You know where it's telling when you get bounties and you're like, hold on, do I even have that weapon archetype anymore? That's all
machine guns, the prime example. Take a new player if they don't have Thunderlord.
Yes.
And they don't have the gun from the Empire Hunt. There's literally a bounty they can't even do. There's not one in the game.
Yeah, that's a problem. And yeah, like you said, if you don't have that, if you don't have what you cook,
Shout out to our by the way, at some point they are making that toaster though. The actual toaster in real life.
Mm-hmm. If you don't have Xenophage, which is not easy to get,
nope.
Thunderlord, you know what I'm saying? And then a lot of the other stuff has been sunset, like
or the Seventh Seraph, which they can't get right now.
Seraph, what they can't get right now.
Coming soon, but
coming soon. So again, it puts them in a bad. So yeah, the sunset. Listen, long term. Yeah, I know I wasn't for it in the beginning, but long term, yes, I think the legendary thing will probably be the right move. But they've got to. Right now, we're feeling it because they took so much away, and there's not enough back. So it's like they're gonna have to start each subsequent season, like really reintroducing a lot of stuff. Now they were on the right path with the I'm just gonna call them the red and blue power tool weapons.
I mean, I like the look. Them. They're unique. Like they're cool. I don't mind them. I actually like a feel amount of those maps. Yeah.
Yeah, I like a bunch of them and stuff like that. But yeah, that is the glaring thing right now that they've got to get a hold of, and each we need to see more. And then I think it's the time gating. Yeah, the time gating. Definitely hurry up and wait, with certain stuff. We see that they're trying to, do the stretching thing. I'm going to give it a pass. Obviously, this week, we got the world's first. Getting ready for that. You know what I'm saying? I know that's a big deal for them. The promotions out there and all that stuff. But I'm curious to see also how they're going to do it. But all right, let me give them some credit, though. I did like logging in Tuesday and getting that cinematic and getting that level of
that. Yep.
I like this. The narrative ties-ins have been really amazing so far. From start to finish, they really killing with that. So if they keep, this is what I feel. I feel like the gameplay stuff is still a little behind on certain things, but the narrative team, they are on fire right now. Like they are like this is the type of Destiny I want all the time. Like I'm gonna get addicted to this. I need this all the time now. Logging in, find a cinema, cool special mission. Let's go. That's where I'm at.
Are you gonna get yourself a parka for the cold times up there?
Hey man, I'm gonna be in there on Saturday with the squad. Hey, if we get a park, I'm going for it.
Well, that's like usually just like I think it's through December 1st. So you have like a week and a half to get that one.
Just a week. Yep.
I'm just saying, will you buy the parka?
Oh yeah, come on, man! I gotta have that drip. Okay. Man. I gotta have my warlocks. We like our coats.
That's a word that doesn't even come out of my mouth in that sense. Is drip? Oh my god!
You gotta get that drip. Gonna throw the hood on. You know what I'm saying?
I am so not hip. It's not funny. Like literally could not. Nope.
You gotta get that drip.
If I said that sentence, I could probably not sound whiter if I said that sentence.
I'm gonna give you some key words, man. We're gonna start flowing. I'm gonna have you.
You're gonna be flowing, drip. Like, who the hell are you? My wife's like,
let's go. Let's go, E.
Justin just fell out of his chair. He's like, oh, dude, I can't even.
Shout out to Dan. He said you secondhand hip.
I'm hip by association. My street cred is on account of Cognito, and that is it.
Listen, man.
He's bringing up my street cred.
I'm gonna have E spitting bars out here. Trust me, y'all. Y'all gonna see him on the street. You're gonna be like, who's that?
I'll give you that one for now.
E gonna be flowing with his dripping dope ass. Yo, it's gonna be funny.
Nope. Yeah, that's when you feel old and not hip. It's like, were you ever cool? I don't think I ever was, and I definitely am not now. So that's how that goes.
So Saturday, man, yeah, I'm going for it, man. Definitely, it's gonna be fun. I actually like the fact that I'm actually of light to compete. Like I like that. So it'll be.
I was gonna say, what did you think of the grind?
Let's see. In the beginning campaign, I actually liked it in the beginning because I felt the campaign outside of me doing the hustle with the Loot Cave 2.0.
Did you get to play it normal before you hustle?
I have not. So this is why I like it, because if I didn't, it was kind of punchy in there, yo. It was kind of.
Oh no, I died plenty.
I like that. And then,
the campaign felt leveled right. Playing normally, the campaign felt leveled right.
And that's the first time, because normally we just smack them around in the campaign. It's it's to the point where, what's that? It wasn't Aramis. Remember when you beat Aramis and then the other chick kicked
my butt.
Bro.
That's a frustrating. My brother was like, dude, I hate this chick. I'm like, I feel you. I died a few times.
That chick she had me under so much pressure. There was a time when I was trying to run around the map. She would freeze me in midair and I would fall like a cinder block into the thing. I said, I was mad, but I was like, this is good. It's challenging. I got to work. I got to think.
I was like, they got to miss though, man. They don't freaking miss. You're like peeking out from cover on the other side and be like,
yes. And that other
like,
boss
if you're
was
just
good
like,
too.
oh, I'm flying through the air. Nah, you're stuck.
What's the boss that you fight? I don't know where it's at, the facility. And he's got like these little circular things you got to shoot all over the map before you break his shield. He's a good encounter too. I forgot what general that is. Basically, you know how like there's this big...
yeah, the one basically in what looks like the Deep Stone Crypt or the Bray Exoscience facility.
Yep.
Phalix, I think.
Yeah.
The
Technocrat. Yeah, the Technocrat.
Yeah.
Yo, Technocrat is a dope fight. What you call it is a good fight. The hover drone, shout out to Dano, shout out to Prescott. Absolutely. Like, I love the fact that they were challenging solo, man. Like, I really had to work. I really had to
died,
think.
and I was like, damn it, I gotta start this boss fight over. I'm like, I gotta take this serious. Because as you said, we're used to just kind of knocking stuff off. Like, it's not that big. And now it's like playing it about the right level. I was like, oh, damn. It's like, and then you realize, and that's where the freezing, when you freeze and then you break out, and that's where it is. Like, you are deathified to the floor. That cold snap grenade that they have, like catching you, you're like, you see it coming, you're like, no, float. Like, you want off the ground.
Is it me, or are these falling a little extra aggressive with them spears and roughing you up?
Oh yeah, they kind of crank some stuff up.
Yeah,
feels like I mean, it feels like, yeah.
I be trying to jump away. There's three of them underneath, and they come. I'm like, yo, they are very aggressive. I like it though. I'm just saying. I just noticed. I'm like, were they this aggressive in the past? Like, I definitely felt an up in AI. And the other thing we didn't mention. Shout out to the 2 new enemy types. Really a big fan. We got our big
leggy harpy.
Yeah, Leggy Harvey, and then the Metal Gear brother, the little the
brig
mini Scourge of the Past.
Now, here's the question: the leggy harpy.
Yes,
I want to hear you say that.
I can't even. How you even pronounce it?
I was gonna say no. Here, I'll type it in chat, and I want to hear you say it. I'm gonna type it in chat, and I want to hear you say it.
I'm gonna say Wyvern.
It's not bad. It's Wyvern, but yeah, it's basically
okay. So there you go.
Yeah, no, I've heard some goofy ones on that. So yeah, the Wyvern, but yeah, the brig is just like.
Yeah,
those guys are frustrating because you can't crit them until you pop the face off,
the thing
and
off.
then finally, like at that point, you're like, oh, now I'm gonna melt you. But for a while, you're just pissing me off, especially when you're in, I think it's Cadmus Ridge on the west side, and the random one that roams. That dude has so much health. God, just die, dude.
It isn't me. As I don't like the sound that thing makes. It makes me very uncomfortable. That thing, it's like these weird.
I mean, it's a big mechanical robot.
You know when he around.
Well, okay, they have some powerful. You got the dropping missiles from above. You got the shoot and like the bomb explosion that goes. But yeah, I will definitely say the Wyvern have yeeted me off a few ledges as well.
Yes,
they jump up in the air like, oh, I'm fine, and they catch you, and you're like, boom.
Yes, love though. I like new enemy types. And it's really good. Yo, chat is on fire. Yeah. In fact, with the clicking noise,
I was like, "What did you?" Pyro could not get off of that on Twitter. By the way, Pyro, what do you think of the click?
It's his charm. Yes. I don't know. It's Varix. He's just weird and creepy and weird when he talks just basic stuff. It's just like I just like it. I just think it is inherently foolish and creepy. And that to me is what Varix would do. Varix would
somebody's like, get him an inhaler, and he's like, when he it even says it because I have the subtitles on.
It says,
and it's like you got the insect noise, like, and then he's like, when he wheezes, he's like, and he'll wheeze, and you're like, dude, come on, he's just like struggling over there.
He's so uncomfortable. Like everything about him is, it just adds.
I mean,
to
he's
the
a sleazy, opportunistic, now 3-armed fallen guy with like chainmail over his little mouth, and dude, just take the mail off. Like, don't breathe through the middle.
Shout out to Varix for being sleaze. He's just a funny character.
He is,
man.
Dude. He's just like, oh, help me, no, Eris, don't freeze me, and all this stuff. And
side note. How are we feeling about Salvation's grip?
Outside of using it for my like the crystals that I had to go shoot, it doesn't feel that great.
Okay, I thought it was just me because I'm like,
I don't know if anybody's enjoying it, or maybe it doesn't feel like, I mean, or the charge is too long to get the big benefit out of it, maybe.
But I'm like,
but even then, it's like I feel like the wall is more effective.
Yeah, I'm freezing. I'm like, okay, then what? I mean, are you getting you get crit damage whenever you shoot them?
I was like, I haven't honestly used it that much because it didn't feel great in the first place.
Prescott, I'm with you. I just don't know what the point. Like, I'm like, well, maybe it's a gameplay mechanic that I haven't seen yet. That, like, I understand, like, the Warlock Super. Oh, yeah, go. What you feel?
I just have a question. Are there other stasis things in this game?
That's what I'm saying. Because it feels like it's incomplete. Right?
Yeah,
it feels like, okay, I do this, and then something else is supposed to do something else, like how the Warlock Super is. You know, I shoot them, I freeze them, and then I do my Gandalf, I do my Lord of the Rings.
You have to like almost have ultra handling on because you shoot it and then have to do something else.
Yeah, it's just, I'm like, what am I? The stage to acquire it was dope. Shout out to the Ghost Imitator Drifter. It was an amazing stage. And that imitation was hilarious. But once I got it, I'm just like, I literally got all the things and I promptly threw it in the vault after.
It didn't feel great while I was using it during the missions and stuff where I kind of had to. And while I was doing that, I was like, it's fine. I would charge it up and try and like aim it at a certain spot and I might freeze some stuff, but it just like didn't seem to do anything amazing to go with it. So you can use it to keep a champion level enemy from proccing their mechanics. He's like, and that may be more one of the keys about Stasis is your super may not like stop a boss, but the interrupt mechanic that you get from Stasis may be what it's just beneficial for, is maybe just honestly causing interrupts. And that's more of like playing in a team. But would I ever use that thing like a solo Nightfall? Hell no.
Hell no. I would never pick that over the better option from what is it, God of Salvation, Divinity. I would never pick that over Divinity as a support weapon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, it doesn't. And again, like the range on a grenade launcher is definitely always like hard to hit the arc correctly. Solo player, no. Maybe support in a raid for like there's a certain mechanic you need to build like some stasis stuff for, and grenade you got more options to shoot it. Yeah. Maybe, but
let me ask you this though. I'm meaning to pick your brain on this. You are the Lord of the Strikes. How are you feeling about the new strike, number one, and then obviously strikes in general?
The Glassway, I think it's called.
Yes.
Okay. I'm trying to remember as much as I can, just details about it. Trying to remember.
The one, remember, it's the stranger talking to you. You go down. It's the Vex portal at the bottom. The Vex keep coming out, and then those what you call it? Those the Vex, the big one with the shield around it that rotates. There's a bigger one, and then there's a small one at the end.
Yeah. So you're kind of working your way through like the Vex platforms and stuff. There's some falling throughout that one. You get to the bottom and the big Vex portal. All I can say is I'm glad I got Conqueror done.
Yes.
Because I don't think that one's going to be fun to do with yeeting smashy boys. Double Hydra action. Some tight corridors and a whole bunch of Hydras in a small space. Seems like very troublesome, explosive rounds Hydras going everywhere.
Very aggressive Hydras.
Yeah, so it was like, I was like, the world it's in, like all of the underground caves, the Vex structures, the one, it's not the Technocrat, but that one might be Phalanx that you're fighting in the very deep subterranean, like Vex area.
Yeah.
One of the 3 lieutenants that you fight there, that you work up. That whole area, when you look up in there, that place is gorgeous. Beautiful. Like that whole thing. So like anything in that area always looks amazing because the Vex architecture always looks really, really cool.
Right, yeah, I know.
I mean, I'm not like
I'm there.
After dealing with like the lieutenant fights as how those felt, now the strikes just don't feel like they hold up to those.
To be honest, I would even argue that the lieutenant fight should be strikes on their own and be part of it.
I can't remember. I've listened to a lot of YouTube and stuff about this. Some people like, hey, remember when people said those missions shouldn't be strikes? Now we're like, can you make those missions strikes?
Yes.
Like you make a lieutenant fight a strike and people would be like, all right. People would be happy to have those in the strike playlist, and now we just have one, and then we have Narota, the non-omnigal.
Non-omnigal.
Slightly different boss room.
I still haven't done it yet. I got to do it. I sitting on my thing. I got to get it done. I think it's the last step. I still haven't done it yet because
it just came up in the strike playlist.
Yeah, it's the Shohan. I think I haven't done it for the first because it's still part of the Shohan quest, and still got to finish that off.
But yeah, I was like, that one's mostly still omnigal. Not really a lot of variation to that one. It's just slightly different looking boss room, just more craziness, honestly. Yeah, it's like and that's the point where like the omnigal room now with as much coming out, dude, it's new red. No, I'm not.
New red.
I
Did he
saw
put
it up there. Yeah, he put it up there earlier.
You know what time it is.
I'll get there. We're mid-discussion, sir. I'm saving that stuff to the end.
Okay, new red. Like, look, bro, I got these points.
I got these points. Dakota's going to kill me if she ever drops hers. It's fine. Dakota has so many, I would die.
You better be nice to her. You better be nice to her.
I am nice to her. Believe me. No, but it's like I'm just picturing boss rooms now for Grandmaster level stuff. When the way we had to go through some of these things was a little kind of just insane.
Yeah.
To get them done in the first place. Glitch out corrupted.
Yeah.
A one that felt more natural was Whispering. What the hell was the Festering Core? That one was more of like a natural fight, like working through the room, working boss damage, dealing with spawns. But you had room in that Festering Core boss room to like, it's a circle, but you had like a good amount of cover.
Yes.
Like Omnigal room, the new one. Yeah. I mean, the old one was small and crappy anyway. The new one, you've got 2 levels, but there's like ogres that spawn in there. You've got a couple that you've got so many guys that spawn out. You're going to be hiding in a corner, maybe. Like that is going to be such a Wyvern Champions.
Oh Lord, that would be crazy. Yeah. That would be crazy. Don't put that evil in the air like that. Don't do that.
Yeah, and it's just
don't give them no ideas.
And that's one of those. It's like the strike playlist. I understand for lore reasons and darkness eating the planets why you're gonna have the strikes go. But when you have a playlist like that, and then you like shrink it by 7, and you add 2, and then we're gonna get 1 more in a future season and 1 more in a future. We're gonna get the Fallen Saber, which is gonna be another awful Grandmaster, I'm sure. And then you're gonna have what the hell's the other one? Sepix.
Sepix, yeah. Well, I gotta get that.
I almost mentioned that to Skye.
We forgot to mention that to Skye.
That song is so iconic because that one's pretty crazy. So those are gonna be cool, but we get 2 more, so we're gonna get back to we have 7. Then with 8, the new one we'll have 10, which isn't bad, but it was like you lost so many, and those were at least just variety to activities, and that's just a shame.
Yo, Blackwing says unstoppable Wi-Fi.
I'm pretty sure they're actually overload because I think they're in there right now.
Oh, that's gonna be crazy, yo. That'll be sick. Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to deal with that at all.
Yeah, an overload guy who smacks you away and then he gets his health back.
No,
that is probably my biggest issue with champions is them getting their health back.
Yeah.
I mean, like we got shotguns on Shotguns on Unstoppable. So it's our first special anti-champion thing. Now, granted, that one at least makes some sense for those, but for a shotgun, you're like, what do you got to do? I got to wait for him to almost kill me and then shoot him with a shotgun. Like, that's not terrifying, right?
Yeah. They're doing that whole risk reward stuff they always do.
I know.
Anyway, how about
Exodus Crash, by the way. It's like completely deactivated at this point. Can they just like get rid of that? Nobody likes that.
They took it away again?
Oh yeah, isn't it? Somebody confirm in chat for me, just so I know I'm not crazy. It's like it was switched off of the Nightfall, and then they took it out of the Vanguard rotation.
Wow.
And it was funny. It happened the same day. It bugged out on me 2 different ways before they took it out.
Really?
It bugged out in the first part with the light pillars. They added it back today. Oh,
just
God,
they added it back today.
No. Just no. I'm sorry. I am sorry whoever made that strike. I apologize to all Bungie employees for the creation of Exodus Crash. I appreciate your work. This is just not the favorite here. It is the weakest link. Goodbye.
I never run it. I rarely run it. I rarely run it. So like, what is it? What's the big to do? What is it? The last fight, the electricity on the floor? Like, what's the problem?
I mean, there's the electricity on the floor. The fact that he was like time gated and used to go away a lot. They changed that a little bit, but you still have to deal with that one.
Right.
You've got the light pillars that you got to run through, so your sparrow gets shot by a random vandal and it explodes.
Right.
You have the platform that you've got to stand on where maybe the electricity guys come up, but you have all the waves of enemies that come while you defend the point.
Right.
And it's just like, come on. It's one of the whips on.
Yo, he going in. I don't tell you, he going in. He going in on that shit.
But yeah, there's just things about that strike. And the fact that the boss fight used to piss us off more. They got rid of like the immunity phases because it used to be like 7 or 8.
Yeah, it was a lot. That part I didn't like. It's
less now, but it's still like, and then he disappears, and you're like, oh, I gotta wait for him. Then ads come in, you gotta shoot those. The people who've done the Grandmaster, most everybody I know cheese that one. They like stood on a box, basically.
Yeah, yep. Shout out to Scream, he did that. But is it like Risk running like God tier in there?
I mean, theoretically, there's like Fallen and stuff, so it would be, but still, it's like 4 now, so it's about half. But it's just, I don't know. I've just never been a fan, really.
Never fan. The only thing I didn't like about it was that at one point, and I don't know if this is still the case, remember when you get those bounties and be like, yo, kill a fallen boss? And there was a time where it was just
that's
the strike.
It's still the only one
it's
with
still
the
the only
boss.
strike, right?
That's why it's frustrating.
Yeah, it's like that part. I'm like, all right, come on, because the other one they don't count the barons that's scoring.
Yeah, they don't count the barons. And the Glassway is Vex, obviously. So you have to go kill a fallen boss in a strike, and you're like, it's the only one. So you have to kill like, a couple like 1 or maybe 2 fallen bosses. You're like, I have to go run this strike that I freaking hate.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So yeah, Fallen Saber, and then you're gonna get Fallen Saber, which is Fallen, and then you're gonna turn around and get how's the other one? I keep forgetting.
What, Sepix?
Yeah, Sepix. That's gonna be one as well. So you got a big shank and a big. So then you'll have 3 different fallen ones.
Have 3 different fallen ones. It would be.
So I was like, that'll be a little better at least. Yeah, Risk Runner is a big love of a lot of people right now. It fits because you're facing a lot of fallen in a lot of places.
Yep, I really need to use that weapon. I don't know why I don't use that weapon. Weird.
Trying to think.
Yep, I
was like, I know we've covered a lot, but I feel like I'm missing something substantial.
We talked about. I know we got the raid, we got the contest mode, all that good stuff, right?
Yeah, I was like, have you been spoiler free on the raid? Nope. That's a nope, sir.
Look, man.
You couldn't avoid it?
I got caught, man. It was
caught with your hand in the cookie jar?
Yeah, some big news. And it was a big news outlet. It was like Windows Central. I was like, it was like Destiny Raid's been exploded. I'm like, damn. So I'm like, oh man, I shouldn't look.
So you made the choice.
I want to know about this Clovis thing. Like, I think it's so cool. So listen, all I saw is this. I just saw a couple of rooms. I don't know what the encounters are. I just know where one of it's gonna be. And he said they got me, yo, Justice in the fire right now. Listen, they got me. I fell victim, but I didn't watch the one that somebody, I guess, tells you, kind of infers what it is at the end. I don't know. All I know is the locale of like the place is
I haven't
pretty.
Yet, so
it's pretty amazing and out there. And I was just like, okay. So that part, I couldn't contain my curiosity with that. But as far as everything else with the specifics, I didn't watch anymore. It's just a matter of environment. But the reason why I fell victim is because I like going into those I don't know if they're deep sectors, the ones that are the research facilities where it's Clovis Brace Tech and the I know you know about. Shall we talk about it? I mean, this is super spoiler about the little figurine that represents someone that a NPC that we talk to often. Do we? That's.
Well, I was gonna say we're gonna go full spoilers here in a second. So, we're already a long point in the episode. You guys have been here for a while. If you do want to find us in places, you guys know where to find us socially. Spoiler alert coming up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, get out of here. We go. If y'all want to know. So again, this is not raid, y'all. I'm just talking about when the lore, from my understanding, when you get the, what is it, the version that you have, the legendary
collectors,
whatever. Okay. So from my understanding, yeah, there we go. So the Banshee thing, yo.
So what's up with Banshee?
Apparently one of the consciousness, Clovis Bray, all that, one of his consciousness all this time.
Really?
Yes. So that's one of them. So apparently there was, and then if you look in the Bray facility and you go inside, it's that big open room. They got almost like laboratories, and then you go up a step to the right, and there's office space. In that office space, you'll see a little miniature figurine.
Yeah, I saw that. I think I just didn't catch
Banshee
it
with the thing, the XO thing out their head. I was like, yo. So yeah, like again, and I guess with the wipe. So Black Wings, thank you. I've been biting my lip on you. Yeah, like the lore, shout out to the lore team, man. They've been on fire this whole joint and he chose to wipe his memory permanently and make a new life. Yes. Yeah, crazy implications. This raid, that's why I fell victim, because I'm like, the lore's so good. What are we gonna be doing? I just gotta know where it's at.
I guess
where is it?
The big question is, do you think post raid on Saturday or Sunday, if it's beaten in 24 hours or not? Shout out to hopefully not Dado in 2402. Do you think do you think it unlocks something? Do you think not a planet, because they've been pretty clear to keep expectations in check. We got Cosmodrome, we got a big ass Europa.
We got Cosmodrome, we got big
But
Europa.
do you think it unlocks mission,
before
lore,
I answer that,
anything like that?
Question: am I confused? Where I thought the hunts were supposed to take place on the Dreaming City.
They're there too. I've done some there.
So some of them tell you to go there?
Like the first two are Fallen. Those are Tingled Shore. The other two Prey options, those are always Dreaming City.
Oh, I've done them.
Yeah, it's just once you unlock it. Yeah, I've already
got it. It's tough because part of me feels it wraps up nicely with Europa, and I struggle to see how they link it to some other place. But I don't know, man. I'm dying to know the implications of what the hell he is doing, and all this Vex tech and darkness. And this guy, Clovis is just dirtbag. He don't care about human life. Long as his existence is he's out there. I just want to see what these
I like chat. Dan was like, imagine it hints to the Vault of Glass, and it's like the Vex want revenge for all of what Clovis did to him.
Could be a segue. Because we got to think about this, right? Narratively, how are they going to bring the Vault of Glass in?
I'm still wondering that. I don't know how you get... We entered it from a patrol space with the gateway on Venus, which means somewhere, some way, there's going to have to be some gateway entrance. Theoretically, they might want to have a similar encounter unless you're just going to warp inside. Yeah. But either way, like, we opened a specific gateway to the Vault of Glass because thematically by the story, Atheon was kind of a pretty big deal.
Yes.
So if we go through all of that to get into their vault, per se, like, cracking a bank vault, we have to go through some way to get into there again.
Right.
But the big question is why and how? Now, what they're saying in chat is theoretically like the Vex are pissed because he was basically plucking them out of a portal, stealing their radiolaria, using that to make exos. And, pairing that with the pyramid powers and the darkness and the radiolaria and the memory wipes and all that crazy stuff.
Got too much stuff in the pot.
Yeah, I was like, that's a witch's brew from hell right there.
There's got the brew right there cooking up.
Vex equals time travel gobbledygook.
Facts. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, to me, there's two threads where this thing gonna go. It's either you're gonna go and finish this Vex thing, right? With either their revenge or what he opened and he doesn't realize what he did, or we still got Xivu Arath situation.
Well, Xivu has to be like the seasonal content. I feel is going to be building toward Witch Queen every season. Now you're probably going to have like any TV show. You've got your intro to introduce Xivu Arath and the tease towards Witch Queen. You're going to have your filler episodes in the middle.
Right.
One or two of these seasons in the middle aren't going to have anything but an offshoot story.
Yeah, offshoot most likely. Yeah.
Then you're going to start tying. The last one's going to be the direct lead into Witch Queen, something like that. And then, so that's how we're going to get to her. But it's like, then you still have the whole key of the Vex. But that was the thing about Ziva Arath, is that she actually can never say it right. Kyria?
Kyria? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's that Vex.
Yeah, that Vex mine, yeah.
Vex mine that's like, but it's like kind of darkness or high. It's related to kind of like, it's been messed with by them. So I'm wondering if that ever comes into play as well.
Yeah. We got a lot going on. I don't know. This is what I'm truly curious when we beat this raid, what the implications are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We know it has to be a bit more than Clovis. It's just, I feel it's more of what Clovis was experimenting with. And then obviously when you find out where it is.
Huh.
But yeah, like I can't wait, man. And then we still got the Crow running around. Like this is
the Crow.
crazy.
You got Marasov some point.
Yeah. Marasov running around. Look at New Red with the phonetic spelling.
I got two of them in there. Q-Waria.
Yaria. Okay. Whatever.
Yaria?
I still butchered it.
Q-Waria. Sorry about the stream taking a crap, by the way. Can't help that one at this point.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. But that's what I got, man. I can't wait for this Saturday. Lacing the boots up, man.
Yeah.
Leviathan's Breath Catalyst is out?
Yep.
Where's it dropping? Just random?
It's related to the hunts. I haven't actually dug into where it's at. I need to do that. But it's related to the hunts.
Enough.
I don't know if it's when you unlock at rank 10 or if there's certain things, or if you need to use it on the hunts and charge it up or what. But it's something related to hunts. I got to dig in, figure out what it is.
I got to work on that. I got to get my necrotic grip today. I'm getting close to light level, so that sector shouldn't scare me no more.
I did want to ask you on
what's up?
Cosmetically to kind of wrap it up as I'm looking through the season pass. The season pass armor related to all these Wrathborn hunts. Yay, nay thoughts?
Kind of trash, man.
Seriously? Oh, thought you might actually like mine. I thought yours looked pretty clean. I thought mine was a bit too much, but I thought yours looked all right.
Where are you seeing it at? Hold on. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing. Maybe I'm discussing. You talking about the season pass?
Here,
armor?
go look at that, and then
give me that
season of the hunt, and it's literally like scroll down to. Nope. Where is it? Exotics and gear, and you should just see the season pass, and it's just a picture of the three of them. It looks pretty good.
Exotics and gear. Just scroll down. Calendar, news. Where at?
So you see like Bear Your Fangs, like the exotic quest, Ziva Wrath, Duality.
And
then below that.
Oh, you mean the actual reward path?
Yeah.
All right. So
like the ornaments for the season pass.
Okay, yeah. I mean, right now they're showing the hunter stuff.
Keep going.
I'm looking. I'm scrolling to the right.
Do you see like the right? No. There's a picture. Like
there's a picture of the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Right,
so if you're on the season pass page,
yes,
scroll down the page. You'll see Rise of a Hive God.
I see included with season hunt. I see the Hawkmoon, Silver Bundle, calendar, news, media, and then FAQ.
Scroll up from Silver Bundle. You'll see Hawkmoon. You'll see.
Yes.
Season pass, where you'll see like just above the actual season pass like rankings.
Oh, for the free seasonal armor, that one?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean that's the ornaments that come with the season pass.
Man. Yeah, so this. I remember me, you know me, I'm Warlock bias, so I'm just like, it ain't doing that for me, fam. Like the helmet is okay. I don't know how I feel about this little sash thing. I feel like Titan looking strong. Titan, look at the military clip. You know what I'm saying? Like, Titan looking strong. It's something about the Warlock. Now, I can't even tell the Hunter. You know, there's usually no usually that's the discernible hood. And wait, hold on. Hunter's left?
Yeah.
Oh, Hunter's the best one. Hunter's the best one. Titan is okay. I just don't, man, I'm not.
Warlock's front and center, just not feeling it.
Yeah, I can't get jiggy with that.
Okay, so you got that. Now, the one that actually even my brother and I think somebody else bought was the Black Armory.
Yes.
Seasonal set from Eververse.
That's the one I cop. You know who's rocking that one?
I knew that might get you.
I got a shout about. This the first Warlock. No, listen, I pride myself in being the most fly Warlock out here. There's no one, I've rarely seen anyone dressed a Warlock as flies. I'm just going to put it out there. Got to stroke myself with a bat. You know whose Warlock game is serious? Wi-Fi. Shout out to Yo, Wi-Fi had an outfit with that joint on. I said, bro, what shade is that, yo? I was like, yo, I hate to steal your swag with that shader that you got. Ooh, man, yeah, that set. That, you know what's funny? I bought that, and because you know how I'm Captain Waste module just to upgrade stuff, right? That set has kept me from wasting stuff because all I do now is throw on any blue or any legendary and turn it into that with that ornament. Oh man, I love it, man. Woo! Yeah. But salute to that set, yeah, because that set I didn't really care for the other one, but that set really good, very Black Armory vibe, very.
I mean, it's like Izanagi threw up on it.
Yes. That the Bond is good. And yeah, shout out, I got it, my man Mafia. We gotta bring Mafia back. He's rocking with the Black Armory Bond with it. The big huge. Ooh, it's clean. It's clean. So I got it. Wait till you see my shit. I'm coming back on him. I'm coming back. I got some style for him now. But yeah, that's my joint.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. I'm going to let you wrap it up while I knock out this for New Red, who's been feeling some
it's
left
time,
up.
baby. You know what we here for. We here for that fitness, y'all. Y'all know it is. New Red, you've been very patient, sir. You know what I'm saying? We've been trying to get this man to get these setups in. You know what I'm saying? The pandemic's still out here, man. Gyms are open. But look, you can do things in your house. Look, my man E is out here. We're about to give you some textbook form going on right now. Get your sit-ups in, y'all. Man. You're staying in the house. Look at that. Look at that perform there. Elbow to the knee. You know, wait, where's the pause at the top? Come on now. There you go, my man. That's what I'm talking about. Like, this is the type of fitness, education, and entertainment we give you. We promoting health and good vibes. You're not going to get this anywhere. Only at the campfire, y'all. Look at him. Well, yo, he's showing off. He's starting right there. Look at the slow rock. See, that's core right there. You got to have that good core. Not COVID belly, but you got to have good core to do that. And this is what I'm talking about right now. Yo, shout out to the Destiny Show, everybody in the chat. Yo, he's out here. My man is out here. He's showing you how to do these things. Yo, Justice said in my area, I got to bring you to the Iron Paradise. Bro, he's out. Oh, we doing the push-up. Yo, we getting the 2-for-1 right now. Y'all getting the 2-for-1 special. Getting that. Well, we should get him to do diamonds, though. But I don't want to be evil with that. Yo, yes sir. Shout out to New Rat sitting on those points.
All right, I gave you guys a couple, but my elbow's not 100% yet.
All right, elbows down. I was saying maybe next time we get the diamond push. Really
I can do a few of them fresh, but I'm like, level. Right now my elbow's still not 100%. So
no, we gotta protect the elbow. Protect the elbow, y'all. No doubt. She said we gotta have how long is she? You got the longest. Yeah, we definitely we this is a power hour. We're making up for a lost show we did last week. Both being E were busy, so we figured with the Skye interview we still had to talk to you afterwards. So thank y'all for rocking out, man. This is what's up, man. Got the dab going. Justin said this is the content I pay to see.
It's like
with the guns out, man. This is what we do
before COVID.
We lit right here, but yo, salute to y'all. They are all fire in the chat. He says all that Titan melee he been doing.
Gotta work. Gotta keep up.
Gotta keep up, bro. That's
I literally do punch for part of my job, so
it's part of his job for real.
There's not a lot of kicking in this game, though. I will say that.
Yeah, not a lot of kicking. It's good. Johnny Utah, what up? You already know. So yeah, man. It's a good one. Good show today. Good rap.
Yeah. A little extra long, but we got our hour with Skye.
Yes, sir.
When you guys see that one out there, if you guys are watching, try not to actually tag Bungie on that one. Just,
Yes. We don't want to get him in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. He did us a solid, so
yeah, just
definitely salute.
Just shout out that you enjoyed the episode as much as you guys can on the Twitters, because, people do follow and see it, but
yes,
try not to call it out too much.
Exactly. Keep that low. No, I'm just trying.
I promise you, I probably tweeted that out. Somebody from the community team's like, go watch this episode. Somebody's like, all right, did you do anything? No? First time somebody silently watched in the background.
Facts. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, ready for the raid, ready to get rocking, man.
Yeah, Saturday is going to be interesting. I think this will probably, huh?
Oh, okay. I'll just ask you.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I think the way the leveling has been, because even I haven't been quite as hardcore between everything going on. I think this potentially will be
Very competitive.
Yeah, very competitive.
Everyone's
Most
ready.
people in it. Like 1230 is not been like if you would have tried, because I haven't even been trying that hard. I'll hit 1230 on one of mine, and I haven't even split 3 characters.
Wow.
Mine's
Oh, you sound
mostly
like me.
been just one.
Yeah, sound like me. I'm just all I'm thinking about right now is what I'm running in there with. You know what I mean? As far as I can go old tried and true, Phoenix Protocol. Thinking about going in there probably with Cold Denial, that new fusion, and maybe depending on the encounter, Xeno. I slept on Anarchy. Anarchy is stupid powerful.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
It
Xeno's
is.
still one of my go-tos.
Yes,
Though.
Xeno's the go-to for long range. But if it's one of those bosses that sits in a spot, yeah.
You know, I will definitely say, like, as I'm sitting here looking at the raid emblem though for that boss,
Yes,
like it looks like it has almost a where'd it go? What I picture is not as I care too much about the world of Zodiac, but is it's very symmetrical, almost like I would picture like Gemini and twins.
Yes.
I would love it if they would ever do 2 bosses you're fighting at the same time.
That'd be fire.
I mean, that would be like, why have... Again, I'm speculating here because I haven't looked, but like, there was a big guess of like what the boss is going to be. Is like, what if there's 2? Can you imagine fighting 2... What's the guy? Axis from Siva? Imagine fighting 2 of him in an arena.
That would be crazy. Yes, Dakota, we are streaming it.
Nice.
So it looks like the team, it's myself, Addict, Gaming Forte, Wilhelm Scream, Cat Daddy, and I miss Sinister. So that's look like the squad.
You got a good crew.
Got a decent crew. Hopefully we get past one encounter. Yes.
Yeah, I was like, when I did Last Wish blind. I did it with Mano, who will be on here in a few weeks, actually.
Yes.
And that one we got to the Consecrated Mind. So we got to the 3rd encounter, kind of got everything figured out, just could not get like the damage balance at that point. That was it, because you had to be pretty perfect for the Gambit run on that one.
Yo, did you hear what New Rat said? He said someone did the math, and with the extra ammo for the catalyst for Leviathan Breath, the DPS now matches Xenofade. Wow.
I gotta get the catalyst and see what's up.
That's Void too, with precision. Interesting. And it has a little I think it's an unstoppable.
Yeah, it's unstoppable.
Yeah, definitely, man. It is what it is. We got some fun.
Yeah, it'll be a blast. So yeah, next week, for your guys' heads up, if you are watching or listening as we go, we are going to have Travis back. Travis Northup. Last time he is working on the review. McClunky. He's working on the review for IGN, and he's definitely going to get a raid group together. I almost ended up running with him, but I think he jumped on a group with console. I was like, dude, you do not want me on a console team. I'm useless. I would be terrible because my controller skills are trash.
And we not doing them frames until December 8th.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't do that anyway, but yeah, no. So
get your frames together.
Yep, Tie Guy Travis will be coming back, so that'll be an awesome one. Had a blast last time, so that'll be next week, Friday night. That should be an awesome episode because we'll cover post-raid, his review, kind of get a full wrap on everything at that point and see. I'm sitting here just like staring at the calendar is kind of the last thing to wonder what remains. And we've got Uncover the Secrets of Europa through January 12th. That's some time. Trials will start when the day he comes back. So we will see how those adept weapons are. And then after that, the only thing that remains is Iron Banner, The Dawning, and more, which seems to be like the quest for Hawk Moon, the quest for Cloud Strike. Like all those actually seem to be quests, which is cool. So there's a little more to those. We'll have to see how that all turns out. But overall, lots to discuss then. But for now, I think that's mostly all we got. So if you got anything coming up for your world, and then we'll wrap this thing up because it's been a long night. But you guys have been amazing.
Yeah, shout out to everybody rocking. Yeah, man, Iron Lord Podcast every Sunday, the Lord's Day. Just keep it low. We got somebody from the statue community from Dolph Castle X, DC Open Mic. This guy's really just trying to merge the communities, which is like comics, statues, video games, all this stuff. it all intertwines, man. He's a big person in the community. So check him out. We'll be doing that. We'll touch on his video game history as well as talk about all the latest stuff that's going on. We may even do a special. We may do an award, a game award special, which is kind of tradition that we do on our podcast. Whenever the game award nominees are announced, we will, amongst all the lords, pick who we think will win that category. Then once the awards happen, the show after will tally up. And then you'll crown your lord, who's the person that's winning. You already know I got like 6 Ghost of Tsushima nominations.
What's your game of the year?
It's Ghost.
What's your game of the year?
It's Ghost. It's
Ghost.
Yeah,
I honestly think it's mine too.
Yeah, it's mine.
Because I was honestly debating between. I didn't play Doom.
Right.
Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm waiting. I've heard good things, but
yes,
I honestly thought it was going to be harder for me between Last of Us 2 and Ghost.
Yeah.
Because Last of Us 2 was a hell of a journey, and I got done. I was like, that's a game I'm not going to forget. Ghost.
And you did both. For you to say that, that's big. Because you've done both. I've not finished Last of Us 2.
You didn't finish Last of Us?
Oh, God. I was saving it for PS5.
Last of Us is it's a journey, and it's one that I won't forget. But Ghost for a game, especially, and then the fact that Legends came later.
Yes.
That is a complete video game package for everything you'd ever want. I think that's mine. I think that has to be mine.
Yeah, you guys think Miles Morales? It was nominated for something, but it wasn't in Game of the Year category.
Oh man, I can't wait to play that though. I've heard so many good things.
Yeah, so we got that. So yeah, come check us out Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern, Iron Lord Podcast. You already know. And also you can catch it on Twitch if you are not on YouTube. And then obviously lordsofgaming.net. Salute. All the support. We really appreciate it. A lot of cool articles. A lot of cool guides. If you guys are playing Demon Souls, you guys are playing Miles Morales, go to lordsofgaming.net. We got some cool walkthroughs, some cool stuff in there. Check that out. And shout out to my man. He said Last of Us has story, but Ghost has style, baby. You already know. Jin Sakai in the building, ninjas, cherry blossoms on deck. You already know. But yeah, man, check this out. And then obviously, it's the last word. Salute, man. Love what we're doing. Love to see the support. Seeing guys like Skye comfortable to come on, have a good time. We wouldn't be here without you guys, man. So salute to you guys for showing the support and appreciate it, man. But E, what you got?
For me, I'm still trying to make sure my streams get better. So I will be working on that. My internet connection should be better now. So if I can resolve what is going on, my speeds should be solid. So now I just got to figure, because they came out and tested everything. All's good. Speed's faster, but I just got to see what's up. So I'll be working on that one. I still want to play. Godfall has gotten got a 6 on IGN, and you see it in different places. There's some fun to be said about the combat, but then when you get to the end game, people are saying it's not so much, and that's why honestly something like Outriders still has me even more intrigued, which is good. But for me, Demon Souls is my next one. When I get a breather time between Destiny and I kind of get to a decent point in Godfall, you guys know I'm going to be playing Demon Souls, so stay tuned on Twitch. Also, watch my Twitter as well, because I will be, once I figure out all this streaming stuff, I will be experimenting streaming on YouTube as well, just to test the waters and see. Maybe one works better than the other. We'll just honestly have to find out. But for me, it's honestly just having fun in hack and slash combat between shooting, because shooting's fun, but Godfall and Demon Souls, while Godfall may not be as good for some people and stuff, if I just have fun in combat, it's hard for me to go wrong.
Not wrong with that, bro. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
But yeah, we were trying to figure out where we were going to go raid for tonight once we wrap this thing up. You guys feeling like the man of the vibes?
Let's get the vibes.
Vibe, man. We got to get Amaze in here. So we're going to go over, shout out to that man. If you go follow him on Twitter and just wake up to that man's tweets. Seriously, guys, he is fantastic. So
great dude.
This has been amazing. Thank you guys for an ultra long episode. Cognito for staying awake for this one, but your sleep schedule is going to go back to hell next week. I'm sure.
on day, so this actually worked fine for me. Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys very much for episode 128. Can't believe we keep getting that high. November 19th. Thank you guys very much. The guest was amazing. You guys are awesome. Have an awesome one. We'll see you guys if we're rating for this episode. It has been the last word.